Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to this joint broadcast of the Beyond Africa podcast, Mimi Mefo Info, and the CNN News Agency. What a time to be alive. What a time to witness change. What a time to witness when things go in directions that we cannot say. Cameroonians are at a crossroads. Everyone is holding his breath. October 12th came, not like a thief in the night, but prepared for. Cameroonians voted. Results showed very massively that Cameroonians elected Issa Chiroma Bakari. The National Vote Counting Commission is preparing to declare Paul Biya, or the National Vote Counting Commission has submitted its final report to the Constitutional Council, and Paul Biya is going to be declared winner. Winner of an election definitely is not necessarily who won, but who has been declared by official chances. By official channels, they tell us. Information about the National Vote Counting Commission's results are already causing chaos, causing conflict, and signs of violence keep on increasing. The military is deploying soldiers across the territory on the grounds that they want to maintain peace. But is peace really at stake? Is violence evident? What is at stake at this moment? Cameroonians simply need that the results from the polling stations should be declared as they are. That is why Cameroonians are tuned onto all news media. We are here to give you updates today, to tell you what has been happening and give our impressions of what we are seeing. We are a three-host panel. We are going to have a series of guests who are going to give you analysis from the legal perspective, what to expect from the Constitutional Council tomorrow's procedure. Is it mere formality or is it part of the process? Can anything come out of it different than expected? And can the pressure we see on the streets today change the outcome or change the decision of the Constitutional Council? I am with a team of hosts. I'm going to introduce you now to Mimi Mefo, who is going to be one of those guiding this conversation. You all know her face. I am the little face that is popping behind her face because
no, you're not little at
all along. Mimi, Mimi. I hope everybody wants to see you and they want to hear from you. They want to know what you think and what you are hearing from the background.
You are great and you're mighty. Let me correct that big mistake you just made. And many people have been following you. We love all the things you've been doing. And thank you for that really succinct introduction into the program. You just painted a picture of what is prevailing on the ground now. A lot of uncertainty, threats. We are seeing people also moving with caution. People are not sure. They're also skeptical. But one thing is certain. People are resolute. I'm going to begin this program with this quote or complaint. It's not a complaint per se, but testimony from a Cameroonian today in the locality. It's not a locality, but in Cambe, in the northwest region of Cameroon. Let me just read so that I state exactly what the person sent through. He said that something happened today in Cambe, precisely in Binju. Some people came and shared T-shirts of Issa Chiroma Bakari to the people in Binju, but all of a sudden, those who wore it were arrested. So the question is, if these people shared but CPDM T-shirt, would there have been any problem? Obviously, no. And the president goes further to say that you can't force people to support you. If the people say they are no longer with you, or they are no longer with the people that they used to be with before, you have to respect their decision. That is someone reporting from Cambe in the northwest region of Cameroon, just to paint the atmosphere of uncertainty and fear that is reigning in Cameroon at the moment. Like Bernard already painted the picture earlier, there were protests today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, including other cities like Garoua, Douala, where people went to the streets to celebrate the victory of the person they voted for, Issa Chiroma Bakari. I mean to report that President Paul Biya, who is 92 and will certainly be 99 if he is president, God forbid, I've always said that, he will be 99 if he is president again for the next 7 years. People went to the streets to protest because they getting information that he will be proclaimed winner of the October 12th presidential election in Cameroon. Issa Shurma Bakari has not stopped publishing and releasing results from his end from the 18 divisions which he says that he was victorious. And according to him, those 18 divisions they are enough to give him that win that he deserves in the October 12th presidential election. So since the 12th of October as well, there have been several protests in other cities. We've seen people in Limbe, we've seen people in Chang, we've also seen people in Douala and Garwa. Earlier today, we also received our correspondents in different regions of Cameroon telling us about the atmosphere in these localities. But Bernard already indicated that tonight, we are going to go beyond the news and speak to legal minds, actors of the civil society, to understand what the stakes are, what the people should expect, and what is really happening, what it means to the Cameroonian people. Thank you so much, Bernard. I think we should move to our first guest because we don't have Sandrine yet. I think she's
Yes,
going to be
let us
joining
just
us shortly. Yes.
let our viewers who are expecting to see the one and only Sandrine to know that she will be joining, and she would bring in the touch that she brings in this conversation. So don't feel that Sandrine is not going to be here. She's going to be here.
Right. So we have our first guest, who is actually Walang Abang. He is a civil society actor joining us from the southwest region of Cameroon. So thank you so much for your patience, and also thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Mimi. Good evening, Bernard. Thanks for having me on your program. It is a singular honor, and I'm sure that we're going to, get deep into what is happening in Cameroon and edify our viewers. And I'm sure that they are going to go back satisfied today. Thanks for having me once more.
Thank you for coming. Bernard, we also have another guest in the house.
Yes, we have Professor Moise Tim Chueng, who is professor at the University of Chang, professor of law. He's been very vocal around the elections right from the beginning, edifying Cameroonians on the legal stipulations that govern the electoral process. And he's going to be telling us what we should expect at the Constitutional Council tomorrow as a matter of law. And behind the matter of law, he's also going to give us his impressions whether we should expect the Constitutional Council to speak the law, speak justice, and give us what we all know came out of the ballot box.
Yes, we just got reports that the professor just dropped out, probably network issues. He should certainly be joining us shortly. But let's begin with you, Mr. Walang Abang. With the atmosphere we just painted, the situation we just talked about, Bernard and I, are you really worried about what is happening in Cameroon right now?
Yeah, Mimi, I think that every normal thinking Cameroonian will be very worried about what is happening in Cameroon right now. I want to begin quoting the former executive president of the Cameroon Baptist Convention, the Reverend Dr. Charlemagne Diteme, when he was inducting the current education secretary of the CBC. He told the outgoing education secretary that retirement is not a punishment. It is an opportunity, an honorable opportunity to have a well-deserved rest. And you see, he too had this issue with the Cameroon Baptist Convention, and he saw that there were many controversies surrounding his own person, and he decided to leave after his first term in office. But unfortunately, that is not what we are seeing in Cameroon. We have a situation where there is announcement of the death of a president, and people drink and celebrate nationwide. And then the man comes back to the country and he says, give me a rendezvous of 20 years. I mean, as a normal reasoning person, I would ask, if people celebrate about my death, it means that these people systematically do not want me around. This is an opportunity for introspection. So I think that it's a worrisome situation because in the election of 1992, I'm not saying this now. I mean, somebody, a renowned political figure, came out and said this. Albert Nzongang. There is a television program where he's saying that he participated in rigging the elections of the presidential election of 1992. And then you move forward to 2011. I'm sure that election too was highly contested. And then 2018 with the candidate, what's his name, Maurice Kamto.
Yes.
It was also very highly contested and almost led to some kind of an insurrection. The government just acted proactively at that time. But this election 2025, the version 2025, is quite unique because there are many dynamics that have changed. Now, people watch the electoral process in real time, and we have had so many cases, video proof of election malpractices taking place. And the surprising thing is that the powers that be have not, they have not arrested, or they are not even willing to try one person with the video proof. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of brutality, but there is a video that has gone viral where one of the elections observers was slapped. That video has gone viral. Now, I don't condone brutality, but I think that it was ample provocation. I'll tell you that I follow these elections, and many people, opinion leaders, closely. And one person who has said something that has marked me seriously is Barrister Agbonkongo, aka Agbobala. He says that electoral malpractices, fraud, is a crime against humanity, meaning that those who are involved in this practice should be tried and punished because it's a criminal act. So I think that is a worrisome situation because Cameroonians have seen all of this and they think that there is just no way that they're going to allow this to keep on happening. And the powers that be too, I don't know, maybe they will get to reason and say, let them, mediate, or there should be some kind of a moderation of because it's not today that they want to read the results. Perhaps before Thursday, things would have settled.
Yes. So Bernard will come in if Bernard is there, because we also have indications that the other guest, Professor Moise, is here.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Walang. We have Professor Moise Timchong, who is back. Yaoundé, Cameroon, internet is a problem, but we are happy to have Prof back. Professor Moise Timchong, happy to have you back on live.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. I'm also delighted to meet Mimi, who used to that we used to see here on Equinox Television, and also I greet the other panelists that I have not got the name. It is Mr. Walang
Abang.
Okay.
Yes.
Walang Abang, that's right.
Okay. So I'm pleased to be part of this panel, and I think that we are going to discuss and enrich one another from what we are going to say here. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We tell our viewers that we bring the best minds to share information with them because we select you people very carefully. We want to make sure that Cameroonians get to know the details and the fundamentals of what is happening in the country and form opinions objectively. And Mimi, I told you, you are the star. So we thank all the viewers. Prof, before we get into the details, I already said that you are professor of law at the University of Chang, and you've been very active on conversations around these elections. So we are at the stage where we are nearing the end of the post-electoral season, where we're simply waiting for the Constitutional Council to do the litigation, declare the candidate, and then swearing in starts. What is your take on the next steps of the procedure?
Yes, we've been informed today that the National Commission, centralized all the results, have finished its work, and has transferred its report to the Constitutional Council. So the next step is what we are expecting tomorrow. It will be the sitting of the Constitutional Council to settle all the litigations that have been raised by other candidates. And I think that up to for now, Cabral Libi and Joshua Ossi, who introduced some petitions, have removed them, and it remains only the one of Madame Toumani Ndamjoya, who is asking, who is demanding the partial cancellation of the election in some areas, because she has raised so many grievances, such as the withdrawal of the representatives of political parties in many bureau de vote. How do you say it?
Polling stations.
Yeah, polling stations. Yes, the modification of the results obtained in the polling stations after the results have been proclaimed according to section 113 of the electoral code. So there are many grievances, and we are expecting to see what is going to come out from there tomorrow, and later on Thursday. It is provided that the proclamation of the final results will take place on Thursday, as from 10:30. You know, the results are being proclaimed from one polling station to another one, so it may take a lot of time. But what is sure is that before the day of Thursday ends, we are going to have the final results.
Yeah. Do you know why Cabral Libi and Joshua Ossi withdrew their petitions?
When I read the announcement they have made, no reason has been indicated. They just said that they are removing their petitions. But I think when we see the attitude of these two persons, of these two political actors, I think that I personally believe, it's my analysis. I may be wrong, but I think that they introduced this petition maybe to prevent Issa Chiroma Bakari from getting a good final result, because these guys are very dangerous. You know, we have seen many videos where they are being accused of having received so much money from the government in order to play the role of obstacle to the opposition candidate who may challenge Paul Biya. And I think that maybe they introduced this petition in a preventive way to see what will be the attitude of Issa Chiroma Bakari. And since Issa Chiroma Bakari decided not to go anymore, they are now withdrawing. I think it is just to open a large way for the victory of the candidate of CPDM. That's my personal analysis. I may be wrong, but from the communique, you cannot have a direct reason why they remove these petitions.
Yes, I wanted to come in quickly. I wanted to come in briefly just to talk about the what you just said about the Social Democratic Front, because we've seen a lot of allegations circulating online, like you say. But on this platform, we always ensure that everything that we say here is factual. And according to the information that we have, Honorable Joshua Ossi has actually filed a lawsuit against the person who accused him of having received billions from the government in the name of John Baakuro. Also, we also have reports that the Social Democratic Front Party and Cabral Libi, Joshua Ossi and Cabral Libi filed these petitions against the CPDM. Because Bernard and I, we are interested, we want to understand what the implications of this withdrawal could be, because when you look at the fact that they filed these petitions against the CPDM, because if they had filed it just for the sake of filing, they would not target a particular party. So they targeted the CPDM. So they would, because we saw also the reactions that it was a way to some sort of, derail the calls for Chiroma's win to be proclaimed. But now that it's been withdrawn, there are also allegations that it's because they have been bought. So with a jurist like you, a legal mind like you, We just want to understand the broader implications for Cameroon's political landscape. With these petitions that were filed and then the withdrawal, what does it really mean? Maybe after you also, we can hear from Mr. Walang.
Okay, but I did not really get in the petitions. But if they were filed against CPDM, then it changes the analysis that I have done. Now it's so if the petitions were filed against CPDM and were withdrawn later, I think it is more a political strategy than a legal strategy, because I think that they want also to disown the Constitutional Council, as Issa Chiruma has also done, because it is just a sign that they don't trust the Constitutional Council in its capacity to render an objective justice, I think. So I will read that withdrawal more like a political strategy than a really legal action, because legally, when you withdraw your petition, it means that you have nothing to claim, you have nothing to contest, and finally, it means that you give the free hands to the Constitutional Council to decide according to what they have. But if the petitions were filed against CPDM, it has now another significance, and I think that it will come in as to disown the capacity of the Constitutional Council to render an objective justice, I think.
Mr. Walang, do you want to cue in from there, just to react to the topic of discussion? You are muted. You have to unmute.
Okay.
Mr. Walang.
Yes. Yeah. So yes. Thank you. I've done that. Thank you. Yes. So I think that these Cameroonians, because I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about a general framework of interpretations, by the people who voted. That's all Cameroonians, and I included. I think that we'll read this act by Cabral Libi and Joshua Osei from two different angles. One, as Professor Tim Chuen has said, that it may be, some kind of disowning the Constitutional Council. The other is that the two parties, SDF and the PCRN, they have lost. It is very obvious. It's evident from all the minutes from the different polling stations. They have lost. And then they are being accused, like you said, by John Bakuro. I watched that video where he said $1 billion francs has been given to some opposition candidates, wherein Cabral Libi and Joshua Osei are featuring prominently. So Cameroonians would interpret this to mean that it was just a facade to show. I mean, going into the Constitutional Council with cases against the CPDM was just a facade to kind of blindfold Cameroonians. I'm talking about the general interpretation, because we don't discuss this only here. We discuss this in other platforms. Cameroonians see it as a facade, to cover the faces of Cameroonians, to blindfold them to the fact that they are actually agents of the very CPDM that they are contesting at the level of the Constitutional Council. Otherwise, what would prompt them to take cases to the Constitutional Council, and then for no reason, they don't hold a press conference, nothing. We only hear that they have withdrawn these files from the Constitutional Council. I mean, these are people who have supporters. If somebody like Cabral Libi scores 3 point something, it means that he has more than perhaps 50 or 25,000 to 50,000, supporters. So what does he tell them? If he withdraws this, there should be some kind of an explanation through what they call point de presse, some kind of a little press conference where he says, I withdrew this because of this reason. Otherwise, it is an insult to the many people who voted for him. Yes.
Yeah,
I don't really know 3%.
Let me come in here. I don't want to be the devil's advocate, and because I am not actually. Many of those who are watching know what I stand for, including all of us here. But we all have to also look at the trends, how things are happening. when they deposited these petitions, because they were calling for cancellation of results in some areas, and I think one of them was calling for partial cancellation. And if I'm right, Bernard, I don't know if his PCRN was calling for partial cancellation, and the SDF was also calling for cancellations in some localities. People interpreted them and said that meant that that was undermining the victory of Issa Shiruma Bakari. People were not happy that the SDF and the party of Cabral Libi were asking for results to be cancelled, and they listened and withdrew the petitions. So I'm just wondering why now it's again a problem. So I just want to understand, am I the one who is not getting it right, Bernard? Because people complain, Cameroonians complain, and they listen. These parties listened and they withdrew the petitions. That's why we don't have them anymore. So that tomorrow it shouldn't be said that because of these petitions, the elections were cancelled in places where Issa Shiruma Bakari actually won. That's my own analysis.
Yeah, before we get into that, let us bring on stage our one and only Sandrine Yamga, who's joined us. Those who are waiting for Sandrine, she's finally here. Sandrine, you're welcome.
Hello,
hi, Sandrine.
Hi. I'm just getting in the conversation. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Bernard.
Yeah,
bonsoir, professeur Maurice Timtouin. On a beaucoup parlé de vous ces derniers temps. Je ne sais pas si vous direz que c'est des détracteurs à vous, c'est des personnes qui vous admirent au-delà de votre travail universitaire, mais je vais revenir là-dessus plus tard. And hi to you, Mr. Walong.
Walong, thank you, Sandrine. We heard a lot about you too. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think Mimi is making the point that we all need to understand. When these petitions were filed, complaints were made that these two parties wanted to invalidate Chiruma's victory. When they withdrew the petitions, complaints were still made that these two parties wanted to invalidate Chiruma's victory. So for the interest of us and for the interest of the viewers, which is which? How would withdrawing the petition invalidate Chiruma's victory?
Please, if you permit, please,
carry on.
Bernard. Yes, before I get into how it's going to invalidate, I wanted to make a point, just 10 seconds. Now, if they, if the SDF and PCRN want to redeem themselves in front of Cameroonians, they have the minutes of some of these polling stations where Issa Chiruma is declared victor, where he says he has won. He has published them. So if they want to redeem themselves, they can publish some of these. If they were withdrawing their petitions because they did not want to distort the winning process of Mr. Chiruma, then they should publish what they have, at least some of what they have, to validate what Chiruma is publishing, so that they redeem themselves among Cameroonians.
Thank you,
Prof.
Yeah,
that's another point, but important one. We discussed that, I think, one day ago. Yes.
Yeah. Je pense que le professeur Moïse Timtouin a quelque chose à ajouter.
OK, thank you very much, Ben. Vraiment, si l'émission est bilingue, hein, moi, je préférerais peut-être dérouler cette explication-là en français, si vous m'écoutez tous. Est-ce que ça peut aller en français?
Ça fonctionne.
Oui, bien.
Voilà.
Very well. Very well.
Vraiment, Mimi, je ne veux pas contester ce que tu dis. Hein. Vraiment, je crois que tu essayes d'amener la question de manière à ce que, justement, tous les paramètres soient pris en considération pour mieux apprécier la posture, n'est-ce pas, du SDF et du PCRN par rapport aux pétitions, n'est-ce pas, qu'ils ont introduites au Conseil constitutionnel. Mais je vous dis, je suis un observateur de la scène politique camerounaise. Et si vous voyez très bien, n'est-ce pas, lorsque la candidature du professeur Maurice Kamto a été disqualifiée, j'espère que je suis suivi. Hein. Bon, lorsque la candidature du professeur Kamto a été... Est-ce que vous me suivez?
On vous entend très bien, professeur.
Oui.
Voilà. Donc, lorsque sa candidature a été disqualifiée, il y a le compatriote maître Christian Timban Beaumont qui a estimé que le seul moyen pour vraiment discréditer le processus électoral, c'était d'appeler à un boycott général. C'est-à-dire que les 11 candidats devraient se retirer pour laisser le RDPC aller seul. Et moi, j'ai réagi sur un vidéogramme qui est sur ma page YouTube pour dire que le compatriote est dans les nuages. C'est comme s'il ne connaissait pas la réalité du contexte politique camerounais. Et j'ai dit que parmi les 11 candidats, il y a au moins 4, j'ai dit au moins 4, qui vont aller accompagner Paul Biya dans sa forfaiture. Je l'ai dit. Et vous voyez que lorsque le professeur Maurice Kamto a fait sa dernière déclaration, il a reçu tous les 11, il s'était montré disposé à recevoir tous les 11 candidats, mais il n'en a reçu que 7. Et il y a justement 4 candidats qui ont refusé, n'est-ce pas, de venir à la rencontre du professeur Maurice Kamto. Et les 4 candidats, c'était lesquels? C'était Cabral Libi, c'était Joshua aussi, c'était Pierre Pouemou et c'était Serge Espoir Matomba. Et c'est justement les 4 que j'avais en vue, parce que nous observons la scène politique camerounaise. Moi, je pense, comme M. Aban le disait tout à l'heure, les requêtes du PCRN et du SDF s'inscrivaient dans la logique de leur attitude que tout le monde connaît. Il s'agissait, au cas où Issa Chiroma Bakary allait au contentieux constitutionnel, de pouvoir fragiliser sa position. Mais maintenant qu'ils ont joué le sale rôle, et nous avons eu les rapports constants de M. Moussa Njoya, de M. Parfum Boum, qui nous ont rendu compte, minute by minute, du déroulement du travail au niveau de la Commission nationale de recensement général des votes. Mais le SDF et le PCRN ont refusé de soutenir les demandes de Issa Chiroma Bakary lorsqu'il s'agissait de produire certains procès-verbaux pour contester certains résultats. Donc je pense, je dis en fin de compte, au-delà de tout ce que Mimi a dit, oui, on peut, pour les besoins de la façade, présenter les requêtes comme étant orientées contre le RDPC. Mais la finalité, c'est de fragiliser le Issa Chiroma Bakary. Et maintenant qu'on sait qu'il ne va plus au contentieux et que les résultats qu'ils ont préparés confirment la victoire du RDPC, mais ils laissent tomber. L'objectif est atteint. C'est une analyse qui peut tenir, Mimi. Donc, vraiment, pour moi, c'est en cohérence de ce que ces candidats nous ont montré depuis qu'ils sont dans la scène politique camerounaise depuis au moins 2018. Merci beaucoup.
Alors, vous ne croyez plus du tout au PCRN, au SDF?
Ah, mais non, vraiment, Mimi, je suis cohérent. Hein. Vous pouvez retrouver les vidéogrammes sur ma page. J'ai constamment relevé un certain nombre de faits, n'est-ce pas, imputables à ces 2 candidats-là, qui ne me laissent pas penser qu'ils sont véritablement des opposants au Cameroun.
Mais professeur, qu'est-ce qui a changé entre 2018 et 2025? Si on regarde très bien dans les résultats de 2018, la position qu'avait Cabral Libi ou les positions qu'avait Cabral Libi et puis Joshua aussi ne sont pratiquement plus les mêmes. Qu'est-ce qui aurait occasionné ce déclin?
Mais bien sûr, mais c'est leur turpitude qui sont en train de sauter aux yeux de tous les Camerounais. Les Camerounais sont en train de voir leur jeu. Mais n'oubliez pas que lorsque le groupe de Douala s'est mis en place, ma chère Sandrine, lorsque le groupe de Douala s'est mis en place, mais leur première publication, leur premier rapport avait relevé l'attitude extrêmement néfaste des 2. Vous vous rappelez très bien. Cabral Libi avait dit qu'il n'est pas concerné par quelques initiatives de coalition. Joshua aussi avait dit qu'il avait déjà organisé sa campagne telle qu'il ne voulait pas la perturber sous le prétexte, n'est-ce pas, de se mettre en rapport avec quelqu'un. Mais c'est des faits. Les rapports ne sont pas de moi, ce sont des rapports qui émanent du groupe de Douala. Et je crois qu'avant que les candidatures ne soient finalisées, le groupe de Douala a publié au moins 3 rapports. Et les 2 candidats ont été constants sur leur rejet systématique de toute idée de coalition. Alors vous pensez qu'on peut être opposant? On espère vraiment renverser un régime qui est la source des malheurs du Cameroun, des Camerounais, et refuser toute initiative qui puisse permettre de porter une estocade plus efficace contre ce régime-là. Je dis vraiment, ce sont des faits. Et je dis, les manigances qui peuvent avoir été observées depuis le vote ne s'inscrivent que dans cette logique-là. Ce sont des gars, je dis, mais vous n'oubliez pas, je vous le dis en étant militant du MRC, mais n'oubliez pas que les militants du PCRN avaient dit que le Cameroun, depuis l'avènement de l'histoire du Cameroun, le meilleur minat, c'est Atangadji. Ce sont les cadres du PCRN qui l'ont dit. Que le meilleur minage que le Cameroun ait jamais eu, c'est Atangadji. Et vous n'oubliez pas que pendant les manifestations de 2019, c'est les militants du PCRN qui attrapaient les militants du MRC qui manifestaient pour les remettre à la police. Donc, c'est des faits. Vraiment, donc, ce n'est pas de la délation. Nous lisons, nous voyons les acteurs agir et nous avons quand même une petite intelligence pour analyser. Lorsque je disais que 4 candidats nécessairement vont accompagner le RDPC, même si les 7 autres décidaient de renoncer. Mais je faisais pas de la précipitation. Et vous voyez que le professeur Kamto est venu le confirmer. Il a reçu 7 candidats. Et les 4 qui ont refusé d'y aller, c'est les 4 que j'avais en perspective, sur la base des faits que nous connaissons d'eux.
Yes, so I wanted to ask Professor Chen Cheng. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing it well. Apologies for that. The 7 other opposition party leaders that Professor Maurice Kamto met didn't succeed to form a coalition, but that's in the past. Let's focus on the future. What are they doing now to ensure that the people's will is respected? As everyone is talking about the people's will. What really changed? Do you think that the 7 other opposition party leaders are more loyal to Cameroonians than the 4 others who did not meet Professor Maurice Kamto? What are they doing now to make sure that Cameroonian voices are heard?
I really think that among the 7 others, there are 3 others who have proven to me that they are really concerned by the situation of the people. I think of Akere Muna, because he has shown that he could resign. He could resign from his candidacy to join another opposition leader. Even though I also have some grievances against Belubua Maigari, but it shows that Akere Muna is capable of abandoning his personal interest to join another candidate. He did it in favor of Belobua Megari. He did it in 2018 in favor of Maurice Kamto. And after the election, he has already congratulated Mr. Issa Chiroma Bakari, showing that he's not there to play the same role like others. I also want to congratulate Mr. Ateki Caxton. He was backed by a party who doesn't have my confidence. Because when I see Mr. We know the role that is the Parti de l'Alliance Libérale of Mr. Celestin Bedigi. Is also in the same in the same attitude like the PCRN or even like SDF nowadays. Because when I see Parti de l'Alliance Libérale with Celestin Bedigi, I start shivering. But individually, Mr. Ateki Caxton.
Yeah, but Professor, you're mentioning candidates that dropped out of the race. These 2, Barrister Akere Muna and Ateki, were not part of the competition anymore because they had to endorse another candidate. I'm talking about those who actually went in. What are they doing now? To show that meeting Professor Maurice Kamto changed. Yes, to show that meeting Professor Maurice Kamto made them to stand out of the 4 others who did not.
No, because you asked me the question about the 7 others. And when we talk of the 7 others, it means that you still consider Akere Muna and Ateki Caxton, who for me showed that. Yes.
Prof, I think Mimi's question is looking forward. What should they be doing right now to ensure that the victory of Issa Chiroma Bakari is materialized? What do you want those opposition candidates to be doing now?
Yeah, for Ateki Caxton and Akere Muna, they cannot do otherwise because they already joined the other team. The Cameroonian people was expecting the collaboration of others in order to help bring evidence of the victory of Issa Chiroma Bakari in many polling stations. But we have been informed by the reports of Moussa Njoya and Parfum Boom that especially NUDP of Belobua Megari refused to share his procès verbal with the candidate, with the representative of FSNC. That is a very serious accusation, meaning that Even after, we can now understand why Belowa Magari refused to make a coalition with Issa Shiroma Bakari, because they are not backing the opposition. They are not backing the position of the opposition. They are fighting for themselves and against the interests of the Cameroonian people. Because you cannot imagine that you claim yourself to be an opposition party and you refuse to help the other one to prove you are just. Because according to the reports that we have received throughout the country, Belowa Megari is not expecting anything serious, because the best results of Belowa Megari, even in the northern provinces, has not exceeded 7%. So, being conscious that you are not expecting to win the elections again, why can you not help the other person to assure his position? So this role these political parties are playing shows that in Cameroon there are no many parties who are really defending the people's interest. They
Okay,
are
Prof.
there
Yes,
to make
even
their
just
business.
before we continue, we have another information coming in that the PCRN has maintained its appeal before the Constitutional Council. So contrary to rumors widely circulated on social media that the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation will indeed defend its appeals before the Constitutional Council. According to that local media radio, which is Capital FM, the information was confirmed by Felice Nyek, a member of the party's political bureau and representative within the National Commission for the General Counting of the Votes. He firmly denied that the documents circulating online announcing the withdrawal of the appeals are authentic.
That is
For me, it doesn't change.
But
It
who
doesn't
signed
change
it?
anything, maybe. For me, it doesn't change anything because the PCRN refused to share the document it has to back the position of Issa Chiroma Bakari. So maintaining the petition or withdrawing them, for me, it doesn't change anything. It means that they are in the facade, as was talking Mr. Abba. They are there playing a role, showing that maybe trying to show that they are also an opposition party, but really they already know the results. They know that the Constitutional Council will not do anything. Why have they refused to share their reports with the representative of Issa Chiroma Bakari? That's where we expected
Prof.
these opposition parties to show that they are backing
Let us go
they are
to
defending
Mr. Walang briefly before we come back to Prof.
thank
Mr.
you.
Walang, I have a question for you. Yes.
I wanted us to introduce Jean-Claude Bede, who has been sitting in the green room for a while.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he may have a
Yes.
contribution to make, and then we hook up with.
Hello, Mr. Jean-Claude. Welcome. Are you stronger today? Because we have so many questions for you.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thanks again for having me.
Welcome. So good to
Good
see you
evening
today.
from our side, right? Good evening to Sandrine, Professor Tim Chuang. I'm really happy to share this panel with him as well. But first of all, I would like to know if you guys did share or already discovered this last information. I don't know if it's still a breaking news from Jeune Afrique that Mr. Issa Chiroma has been proposed the post of Prime Minister. So it's, yeah. So I just share it with Ben on the WhatsApp if you can.
Let me get it to the technician.
Yeah, but the information, when I got it 2 minutes ago, and then I had a call with a very close cycle from the new head of state, and I can ensure that this proposal has been
New head of state?
Who is the new head of state?
So just 2 minutes ago, I had a talk with, someone of the very close entourage of the new president of the Republic, the third president of Cameroon, and Mr. Issa Chiroma. And what I heard from them is that that proposal was rejected. So, but the information.
So was it true, at least? Was it true?
The information.
But vous mettez la proposition, qui l'a proposé, Premier ministre, qui l'a fait? D'où est venue cette proposition?
Directement, selon les informations, et d'ailleurs, Jeune Afrique, qui est très introduit, n'a pas écrit au conditionnel. L'article est là. Encore, nous l'avons vérifié, tout le monde peut vérifier. Ils ont affirmé que Paul Biya propose le poste de Premier ministre à Issa Chiroma, mais il y a juste 2 minutes, j'ai pu parler, on a confirmé dans l'entourage du nouveau président de la République. Et voilà, l'information que j'ai, c'est que l'information a été refusée de la manière la plus catégorique qui soit, parce que le président Issa Chiroma estime qu'il ne peut pas échanger la confiance des Camerounais contre un poste de Premier ministre. Voilà la dernière. Je suis désolé
Votre première réaction, qu'est-ce que ça nous dit? What does this tell us? This is someone who ran for post of president and won according to official results that we've had in different regions of the country. And he's not contesting because he says that he doesn't even want to go to the Constitutional Council because he doesn't trust the Constitutional Council. This is the exclusive information telling us on Jeune Afrique that that President Paul Biya is proposing the post of Prime Minister for Issa Chiroma Bakari, and Issa Chiroma Bakari's team has actually rejected or turned down that proposal. So I want to start with you, Mr. Jean-Claude, just to ask you, what does this tell us? Is the regime, is it an indication that the government is panicking?
It is from my side, but really, because you are coming from a country where the expertise is not taken as it should be into consideration. I would love to listen first to Professor Tim Chuang, because this is a very technical issue, and then please, if you allow me, and then I will give you my opinion because I have one. I do have one.
Yeah, maybe we start with Mr. Walang first. Mr. Walang has been waiting for a while now. So would you mind just giving us your immediate reaction? What do you think about this?
Yes, thank you. I'm hearing this for the first time now. The information is very, very new, that the president, the outgoing president, is proposing to Mr. Issa Chiroma the post of Prime Minister. I think that the constitution of the country stands supreme. That is my opinion. In fact, it's not even an opinion. I'm not a jurist, but Professor Tim Chuang will agree with me that the constitution is the highest authority in the country. And it is there. Yes, it is there that, such matters are treated. But I think that if somebody truly wins an election, that person is protected by the institutions of the country. So with all the proof that we have at our disposal that, Mr. Chiroma has published 18 polling divisions where he has won, and it is said that those divisions have 80% of the electorate. I think it is only reasonable, it is only normal that the country gives him his victory. It is an expression of the people. And Professor Tim Chuang, I'm talking under his guidance, will agree with me that this is non-negotiable. If somebody wins an election, that person has to assume the office for which he has been recognized a winner. So I think that this is, getting us into further complications, proposing, if at all that information is true. But the new panelist, I don't get the name, he says that, Mr. Jean-Claude says that it is verified. So if it is verified, I think it is still part of this, getting Cameroonians into a confused state where we will fumble, and then at the end of the day, we will go to nowhere. And then, by the way, let me point out that the position of the Prime Minister in Cameroon, as it were, is one that is highly honorary. It's an honorary position because the Prime Minister doesn't form a government. The Prime Minister has very limited powers. In fact, the case of Cameroon is even regrettable because we have had situations where ministers have overlooked the Prime Minister. So I think that, it's just playing around, and then getting the Cameroonian people. It's playing with the intelligence of the Cameroonian people. I dare say this, that if the results have come out and it is recognized that a certain candidate has won, it is the institutional prerogative to give that candidate the position that he has won. I think it is very clear and simple.
Yeah, before we get to Prof. Tim Chuang, I'm actually on the website of jeuneafrique.com, and the information is very, very true. And Jean-Claude is somebody, he's an international journalist who's been doing that for a very long time. So his sources are always very, very accurate or nearly accurate, always very reliable. So there's no need to doubt that information. So Prof, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Prof. So what are your first impressions? Is this telling you that Issa Chiroma Bakari is actually the winner of the elections, and the CPDM, I don't want to say Paul Biya, the CPDM is looking for a way out by trying to appease him?
Okay, thank you very much. Je dois surtout accueillir Jean-Claude et Sandrine que j'ai pas accueilli tout à l'heure. Je suis entré dans le feu, vous voyez, pris par la passion de la question de Mimi. Voilà, j'ai pas eu le temps de les accueillir, donc vraiment ça me fait plaisir de partager le même panel avec vous. Alors donc par rapport à la question que vous me posez, Ben, je pense que en tant qu'observateur de la scène politique camerounaise, c'est vrai que la proposition de faire de Issa Chiroma Bakari peut s'interpréter de différentes manières. Alors, on peut l'inscrire dans une logique peut-être de recherche de la paix, au regard justement, n'est-ce pas, des revendications qui sont actuellement en train d'être faites, parce que nous connaissons que le régime RDPC est un régime particulièrement arrogant, n'est-ce pas, méprisant, et lorsqu'il est en position de force, je crois qu'il n'a pas besoin de concéder quoi que ce soit. Et donc, si aujourd'hui ce régime est amené aujourd'hui à proposer un poste de Premier ministre à Issa Chiroma Bakari, je dis cela nous surprend, mais nous ne pouvons que louer. Si du moins cela correspondait à une proposition consécutive à une victoire effective du RDPC, ce serait une évolution que nous apprécions à sa juste valeur. Mais nous sommes plutôt dans l'hypothèse de surprise. Cela nous surprend. Et connaissant l'arrogance et le mépris de ce régime, je pense que je suis porté plus à lire cela comme un signe de frilosité, parce que les informations qui circulent actuellement au Cameroun, mais nous font état de ce que même les plus grands soutiens du régime sont en train de le lâcher. Alors, on a vu des images qui circulent à Garoua, où vraiment on voit la population en train de communier avec les forces de défense et de sécurité. Alors, est-ce que ce n'est pas un signe que le RDPC perçoit peut-être déjà de Yaoundé comme étant des prémonitions de ce que justement la situation pourrait évoluer contre ses intérêts? En tout cas, je pense que ce qui est important, c'est que le résultat des urnes soit préservé. Et comme le disait tout à l'heure monsieur Aban, la constitution du Cameroun, c'est la norme fondamentale de notre pays. C'est le socle sur lequel notre pays est bâti. Et l'article 2 de cette constitution veut que le seul souverain, c'est le peuple. Et cet article 2 continue en disant que aucune fraction du peuple, ni aucun individu ne peut se prévaloir la souveraineté du peuple. Et j'ai toujours eu à dire que la convocation du corps électoral marque le terme du mandat que le peuple, l'unique souverain, a confié au président sortant. Et dès lors, dans les normes républicaines, l'armée qui était aux ordres du précédent doit se mettre dans une posture d'équilibre jusqu'à ce que le nouveau titulaire du mandat populaire prenne les rênes du pouvoir et que maintenant l'armée commence à lui faire allégeance. Donc, si donc le peuple a voté Issa Chiroma Bakari, mais Issa Chiroma Bakari devient redevable envers ce peuple-là. Donc, il ne saurait troquer le mandat qu'on lui a donné au profit d'un tiers. Mais si le mandat a été donné à Paul Biya, tant mieux, mais cela passe par une transparence absolue. Et les résultats que nous sommes en train de voir quand même nous inquiètent. Parce que vous avez vu, nous déplorons aujourd'hui l'enlèvement d'un député dans le Nongamantoum. Mais Nongamantoum, qui est un département du nord-ouest, vidé de l'essentiel de sa population, et où on nous dit que cette population a voté à 100% pour le RDPC, avec des scores où il n'y a pas de malades, où il n'y a pas de déplacés, où il n'y a pas de décès depuis la révision des listes électorales, c'est quand même surprenant. Et il y a M. Parfum Boum qui a sorti une boutade pour dire que c'est curieux que dans les villes en paix au Cameroun, n'est-ce pas, on ait eu des taux de participation relativement faibles, et que dans les villes en conflit, ou bien là où les populations sont censées avoir déserté, mais qu'on ait fait le plein d'œufs au point où personne n'a pu voyager le jour de l'élection, ainsi de suite. Donc, vous comprenez, cela jette donc un sérieux discrédit sur le processus électoral tel qu'il est là. Mais en tout cas, je dis, nous sommes attentifs à ce qui se passe. Ce qui est souhaitable, c'est que si la volonté du peuple est disponible, il faut que le peuple voie que cette volonté est effectivement celle qui est. N'est-ce pas? Et là, on connaît bien un adage anglais. Justice must not only be done, but it should be seen as to be done. Donc, là, nous sommes dans un processus électoral.
Do you think the Constitutional Council will declare the true result, the true results of the vote?
That's what I'm saying. It means that the Constitutional Council has to convince the whole people that the results it is going to proclaim are the real ones. Okay? Because if the results are not the real ones, I think that when there is transparency, all the candidates will abide to what is being said. But if you are hiding, you are giving results that are unreasonable, because even without having seen the reports of the ballot of the polling stations, there are some information that you can consider reasonable or not. You cannot imagine that in a quarter like École des Postes in Yaoundé, that's a quarter where you have students, and we know the tendency of students. They are generally in contestants, and it is said that in École des Postes you have 301 registered, 301 have voted, 1 for Chiroma and 300 others for Polbia. Do you think that the students of Cameroon are so lovely towards Mr. Dia? I don't think personally. So you see, those are, when you publish such results, you expect who to accept them. It's not acceptable. Okay? And those are things that we bring that are going to maintain the tension in our country. And in case of what we call the dérapage, en cas de dérapage, mais nous sommes tous dans l'insécurité. On n'a pas besoin de ça. On a besoin de transparence, on a besoin de sincérité pour préserver la paix qui est chère à tout le monde et qui permet justement d'éviter que nous puissions déplorer les morts. Pour rien. Donc vraiment, il y a la rationalité des résultats. Il y a donc des résultats que l'intelligence normale d'une personne normalement bâtie ne peut pas accepter. Vous ne pouvez pas estimer que dans les régions anglophones où il y a aujourd'hui une désertion des populations, qu'on ait plus voté avec des scores où parfois on a des résultats où il y a plus de votants que d'inscrits. Mais c'est grossier, c'est sauvage. Et aujourd'hui avec les TIC, l'outil téléphonique est devenu une arme extraordinaire. Mais j'ai vu des chaînes en ligne, mais qui ont compilé toutes ces vidéogrammes-là. Mais quand je regarde ça, j'ai mal au cœur. Ouais. Quand vous avez le malheur comme nous de traverser souvent les frontières, mais vous créez un réseau, un faisceau de relations, où dès lors qu'il y a un événement dans votre pays, on vous interpelle. Mais qu'est-ce que vous pouvez dire devant des grossièretés comme ça? Vous avez honte devant vos amis. Donc vraiment, ça nous avance pas beaucoup. Merci.
Prof. Let's get to Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
You said you have spoken with Chiruma's inner circle about this appointments proposal. Why would they reject it if we are already seeing signs of blood on the streets? Is accepting it not ending the conflict and he joining the government to execute a peace plan the best way to go?
No, that is not I think it's not the issue. It's not the issue, but the first thing I would like to say is when I talk to the people around Mr. Issa Chiroma, they told me two things. They said it's completely, absolutely true, but no way. It is exactly, I still have the message here with me. They said no way, because this will be disrespectful, for the Cameroonian people, of all those people who have been voting, and who have been following, who are trusting Mr. Chiroma as new leader for the transition. We should never forget the reason for which Mr. Chiroma is leading all those people, bringing them with him, is because his program is the transition, and this transition means he's bringing all Cameroonians on the table to talk, to discuss, to try to look at each other and to decide the future together, what is supposed to be the future for all Cameroonians and for our country. That said, ce que je voudrais dire, c'est que quand on sait que ce régime du président, et je remercie le professeur Tim Chang parce que c'est pour ça que je n'ai pas voulu, c'est à dessein que j'ai voulu parce que je sais qu'au Cameroun, on ne prend pas beaucoup en compte les expertises. Et dans la diplomatie où je me suis prêté ces dernières années, il y a beaucoup de prudence avant que nous ne nous engagions quelque part. Mais, et donc, justement, comme Ben le disait, quand je dis quelque chose ici, c'est que je l'ai tourné et retourné d'une certaine façon. Le régime que nous avons ici, c'est un régime qui s'est souvent vanté ouvertement de son obésité et qui ne s'est jamais ennuyé de se retrouver avec 160 députés sur 180 à l'Assemblée nationale et qui ne s'est jamais gêné de se prendre tous les postes de responsabilité dans les différentes instances du bureau de l'Assemblée nationale. Et quand je dis que le régime s'est souvent vanté de cela, c'est que je cite même le président de la République sortant qui disait que les opposants étaient arrogants et prétentieux de vouloir même, je veux dire, prétendre à des postes comme celui de questeur. Donc, quand on voit tout cela, et avant ça, j'ouvre quand même une parenthèse pour dire que ce qui s'est passé avec les résultats est tellement choquant. Et je crois que nos frères et sœurs des régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest vont apprécier le fait que pendant une semaine, parce que les gens, je crois que les journalistes ne le disent pas assez, ils ont décidé d'eux-mêmes, de leur chef, y compris ce qu'on a appelé les Amba Boys, de déposer les armes, de mettre un terme au ghost town pendant une semaine pour permettre au processus électoral d'avoir lieu et de se dérouler. Donc, qu'on nous dise que celui qui est considéré comme le principal bourreau des populations de cette région a gagné l'élection dans cette région-là, c'est une grosse provocation et cela n'a rien à voir avec des dirigeants qui veulent tendre la main pour quelque paix que ce soit. Donc, cela m'amène à dire que c'est l'information qui est en train de circuler, elle arrive à un moment où, justement, tous les services et les bulletins de renseignement, je n'ai pas encore celui de ce soir, j'ai la chance de pouvoir accéder au bulletin de renseignement qui arrive au président sortant ou tout au moins à son entourage qui gère ces choses-là. Les bulletins de renseignement qui sont montés à la présidence de la République, tout au moins à étudier, parce qu'on peut dire que la présidence de la République n'existe plus, les bulletins de renseignement qui sont montés ont tous prévu que le RDPC perdrait cette élection. Nous l'avons dit, mais les journalistes n'ont pas fait attention à ça. Tous les renseignements généraux ont informé. Et d'ailleurs, le dernier bulletin que le président Biya reçoit à 15h, samedi 11 octobre, lui dit clairement qu'il ne sert à rien d'aller à Monatélé parce que de toute façon, même à l'aller il allait perdre l'élection. Et vous avez vu les résultats. Je vais dire, ceux qui sont sortis du bureau de vote, ces résultats qui sont sortis du bureau de vote donnent clairement Issa Chiroma vainqueur à l'Aleki, ce qui est un tremblement de terre. C'est un véritable séisme politique parce que l'Aleki est plus bastion imprenable de l'ex-Paul Biya que le sud de Cameroun. Donc, quand on met tous ces éléments ensemble, on voit mal comment, du jour au lendemain, ils n'ont pas encore clarifié les résultats. Les Camerounais sont encore en train d'exiger que la vérité soit faite. Comme je me suis amusé à dire aujourd'hui que le Conseil constitutionnel, qui a l'habitude de nous dire irrecevable, n'a que deux choses à faire, ce Conseil constitutionnel doit déclarer les PV de la Commission nationale irrecevables et il doit se déclarer incompétent pour la proclamation des résultats qui sont scandaleux. C'est la seule chose qu'on attend. Donc, pendant qu'on y est, qu'on nous dise que ce régime-là qui est très arrogant, il déploie les gens partout parce que quand vous voyez les éléments de langage, les termes qui sont choisis, les mouvements qui sont observés, ce n'est que du côté du régime, du gouvernement sortant, qu'on entend les paroles paix, destruction du pays, stabilité. En fait, il n'y a que qui utilisent ce type de langage et d'expression. C'est parce qu'ils savent exactement ce qui se passe. Et on a des missions qui vont à Douala pour... Et puis, on en est même, là aussi, choquant, on a vu un préfet qui a invité 3 communautés. Il a invité la communauté Bamileke, la communauté, et ils ont écrit du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest, et la communauté des ressortissants du nord. Et c'est une stigmatisation inacceptable. Mais ce qui a attiré mon attention, avec mon réflexe de journaliste qui est resté, ce qui a attiré mon attention dans cette lettre de convocation, c'était les ressortissants du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Alors, pourquoi, si on dit les ressortissants bamileke parce qu'on les a diabolisés en 2018, en divisant, en les mettant, en les noircissant, en faisant peur à tous les Camerounais, parce qu'on aurait cru que nous n'avons pas de frères, d'amis bamileke, qu'on ne peut pas partager le même repas. Quand on écoutait les gens de ce régime en 2018, si on ne vivait pas en Occident et qu'on se côtoyait entre nous, on allait croire que c'était vrai. Donc, ce qui m'a... si on peut dire que voilà les ressortissants du Nord, parce qu'ils seraient manipulés par M. Issa Chiroma, serait dangereux, mais on est surpris quand même de voir qu'ils ont inclus dans la liste les ressortissants du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest, régions qui sont censées avoir procuré 98% plusieurs fois au candidat du RDPC pour qu'il rattrape l'écart qui était celui de M. Issa Chiroma. Donc, pour moi, à première vue, c'est pour ça que je vous ai pris un peu de temps pour faire un certain nombre de démonstrations factuelles pour vous dire que ce régime n'a absolument aucune intention. Il veut procéder par la corruption, comme d'habitude, parce que c'est un régime qui distribue de l'argent, beaucoup d'argent à circuler. Ils ont essayé, parce que c'est un régime, comme j'ai l'habitude de dire, qui a sa propre diaspora, sa propre opposition, sa propre jeunesse, sa propre population, ses propres religieux, ses propres chefs traditionnels. Ils ont corrompu tout ce monde-là, mais ils ont oublié que ce monde qu'ils corrompaient ne représentait pas tout ce peuple qui est meurtri. Et pour la première fois depuis que le Cameroun existe, parce que la difficulté pour ce régime aujourd'hui, c'est qu'ils ont tous les Camerounais contre eux. C'est-à-dire les seules personnes, prenez le pouls, même sur les réseaux sociaux, les seules personnes qui défendent ce régime aujourd'hui, quand vous allez vérifier, ce sont des gens qui ont un petit poste quelque part, ou bien ce sont les gens dont les tontons sont quelque part et ils ne veulent pas perdre ce privilège-là. Ça existe dans ma propre famille, hein, où j'ai vu des gens battre campagne pour le RDPC, une cousine bourrer les urnes dans un village pour que le RDPC gagne. Donc, je dis, ce régime, il n'a aucune intention de lâcher du lest. Toute leur action est de la corruption pure et simple. Même ce poste de responsabilité, c'est parce que les informations que j'ai balancées la semaine dernière faisaient état de ce que M. Issa Chiroma avait refusé déjà la somme, je crois, de 100 milliards de francs CFA, c'est-à-dire pour laisser l'élection. Alors que quand on a l'âge de M. Issa Chiroma, effectivement, on n'a vraiment plus grand-chose à perdre. Il sait qu'il est là. Il a proposé la transition au Camerounais et nous l'avons tous suivi. Il n'a pas droit à l'erreur. Voilà ce que je pouvais dire.
J'ai juste une question pour toi, Jean-Claude, avant. Peut-être.
Yeah, I think we need to move to another person because Jean-Claude can talk from now till.
I know,
Yeah.
till tomorrow.
We need more because we have three guests.
But I have
So
just
we'll
one
come
last
back
question to
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just one last question to
Sandrine,
him.
before
Okay.
you come in with your question, yes, Prof and Jean-Claude, we understand. Please always mix in. We know you can do it, French and English, so that the viewers.
Yeah, of course. I will try.
Please do. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so Bernard, does it mean that I have to ask my question in English too?
Jean-Claude's brain works like a computer, so it translates immediately for him.
Please.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can do it in English. So, Jean-Claude, what or how are you assessing the time for Jeune Afrique to came up with that information? We are now, and then we just have a couple hours for the Constitutional Council to say something about the election and then the outcome of it. What do you think about the timing?
The timing of this proposal to Mr. Issa Chiroma. No, it's what I was trying to say is corruption, nothing else. Because when you know how this regime is moving, how they are managing our country, and then you can understand clearly that they have failed in all their, all what they have tried to do to create their own youth, their own diaspora, their own traditional rulers, their own religious, and so on. They have failed because they used to use this part of the sociological entity of the population to divide us. And this time they really felt on it because they have the whole population standing in front of them, facing them, claiming for the change, for the transition. This is exactly, and according to answer your question, according to the timing, I think there is no timing. Those people, they used to work by night. They used to work during the night. All this election, the decision of changing the result of the election was taken in the night between Sunday and Monday, last week, when they knew about the result and the exit poll, and then the order came through directly straight from the presidency of the republic. They say just change it, just adjust.
But I had in mind the Constitutional Council, because tomorrow they have to start making a decision. I think by Thursday we should know who is the next president or who's the new president of the Cameroon. So why are they thinking this time now? Is it just to tell the people that, okay, it is clear that Mr. Biya won the election, or no?
But
or just
what I want to say, as this one is really according to, the law, maybe Professor Chin will tell us more, but what I can say as a journalist, what I can manage to say at this stage is, even the Constitutional Council, they are not allowed, they should not even open their meeting tomorrow. Maybe we don't focus on l'article qui leur permet au Conseil constitutionnel de proclamer les résultats, dit arrêter les résultats et proclamer les résultats. Ils n'ont pas pu arrêter les résultats. Quels sont les résultats qu'ils vont proclamer? Parce que la seule chance, la dernière chance pour arrêter les résultats, c'était de s'assurer de la sincérité du scrutin. C'est-à-dire, étant donné que les décisions du Conseil constitutionnel, qui, le professeur va me corriger, statue en place de la Cour constitutionnelle qui n'existe pas, je crois, leur décision étant papale, pratiquement pontificale, elle n'a pas de recours. Le Conseil constitutionnel ne doit pas simplement dire que c'est irrecevable. C'est pour ça que c'est un scandale, même pour nous qui ne savons rien du droit, d'entendre qu'un Conseil constitutionnel se déclare incompétent par rapport à une question juridique dans un pays, alors que c'est eux les garants de tout ce qui concerne le droit au Cameroun. Donc, ma position en tant que citoyen est la suivante. Demain même, l'audience n'a pas lieu d'être. C'est-à-dire que l'audience de demain, à mon avis, est illégale parce que la Cour constitutionnelle, alors, elle n'aura même pas vidé le contentieux et elle a encore été plus piégée. Elle a d'abord été piégée par la décision politico-stratégique du candidat Chiroma qui a décidé de ne pas se présenter devant cette cour.
Le conseil,
et elle a encore été davantage piégée par M. Cabral Libi et M. Joshua aussi, qui ont décidé de se retirer là. Et normalement,
mais il y a encore un recours de Mme Tomaino.
De Mme Tomaino, qui n'a rien à voir avec qui n'a rien à voir avec le problème qui s'est posé dans les bureaux de vote, parce que ce qui se pose comme bureau de vote is, because the problem is the result had disappeared from Sunday, October 12th to Monday, October 13th, in the night. Where are the results of the qui ont été proclamés dans les bureaux de vote? Ce sont ces résultats-là qui font problème. Parce que le Conseil constitutionnel, malheureusement, n'a pas permis de confronter, parce que ça aurait été facile. On ne demande pas au Conseil constitutionnel de confronter, de relire tous les 36 000 procès-verbaux. On demande parce qu'il y a des zones vraiment litigieuses. On voudrait que les procès-verbaux qui sont sortis des bureaux de vote dans les zones où les oppositions soupçonnent le régime d'avoir changé les résultats, que ce soit ces régions-là qui soient recomptabilisées ou confrontées. Sinon, le Conseil constitutionnel doit s'abstenir de proclamer les résultats, et je crois que les candidats, eux, devraient mettre la pression pour qu'on appelle à une commission internationale de recomptage des voix, comme cela a été le cas en Côte d'Ivoire en 2010. Et cette commission internationale, qui pourrait être l'Union africaine ou la CEMAC ou les Nations unies ou n'importe quelle autre organisation, pourrait certifier les résultats qu'elle mettra à la disposition de la Cour constitutionnelle, qui pourrait donc proclamer des résultats sincères. Je crois que c'est ce que je peux dire jusqu'à ce moment.
Tout à fait. OK, on va donc aller discuter avec le professeur Moïse Timchem. On parlait avec Jean-Claude justement du rôle que devrait jouer le Conseil constitutionnel dès maintenant. C'est une journée assez importante qui va commencer demain et les résultats officiels de la présidentielle devraient être proclamés jeudi prochain. Mais tout autour, il y a tellement de petites actualités qui viennent s'y greffer. Avec Jean-Claude, on a parlé de cette proposition à M. Tachiroma Bakari. Il y a déjà des violences déclarées à Garoua, où on parle d'un mort déjà, dans d'autres villes du Cameroun. Dans quel état d'esprit ou bien dans quel climat est-ce qu'on est en train de s'acheminer pour vivre ce qui va se passer au Conseil constitutionnel? Est-ce que ce sera la même d'avant ou on devrait s'attendre à quelque chose de différent?
Bien, l'élection présidentielle de cette année 2025 a beaucoup de particularités. Hein, et la première particularité, justement, c'est le niveau de contrôle.
Looks like Prof is frozen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, while Prof is frozen, let's bring Mr. Wallang in. Mr. Wallang, what are you hearing from the streets about tomorrow's petition or tomorrow's hearing at the Constitutional Council? Looks like Mr. Wallang is frozen.
It's frozen too?
Internet. The network has been.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, so let's come back to Jean-Claude Mbede. Jean-Claude, today you have seen the degree of violence and street movements. OK, Prof is back.
Je crois que tout à l'heure, j'ai été c'est la réalité de notre pays, donc le réseau est parti juste au moment où je commençais à parler. Donc je disais que cette élection présidentielle est très riche, n'est-ce pas, en particularité, notamment au niveau de l'intérêt que le commun des mortels a manifesté à cette élection-là. Et au regard de toutes les informations qui circulent, alors comme Jean-Claude le disait tout à l'heure, l'article 137 du Code électoral, qui définit justement les attributions du Conseil constitutionnel en la matière, mais prévoit très bien que le Conseil constitutionnel arrête et proclame les résultats. Alors, dans le terme arrêter, le concept d'arrêter, ça veut dire qu'il s'agit en fait de se prononcer sur la qualité des résultats qui lui ont été transmis. Or, comme je vous ai pris, tout à l'heure, je vous ai pris quelques exemples. Mais comment est-ce que vous pouvez imaginer que l'école des postes à Yaoundé ait autant de votants que d'inscrits et tous en faveur d'un même candidat? Ce n'est pas raisonnable. Et justement, vous comprenez que notre code électoral est un code électoral conflictogène. C'est un code électoral dangereux. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, we are asking ourselves, what is the relevance of the report that is given to the representatives of political parties if it cannot matter in case of litigation. That's a provision which is very dangerous, because it is clearly said that after at the end of the process in the polling stations, the results are published, and these results are being registered in the reports. And each representative of each political party has a copy of this report. But in case of litigation, it is said only the copy of Elecam matters. So you ask yourself, what is then the relevance of this report that is given to the representative of political parties? It is to the Constitutional Council, according to its mission as defined by law, to assess the situation when there is conflict, when there is discussion about the sincerity of some results. Mais quand par exemple le représentant de Issa Chiroma Bakary sort de la salle de la Commission nationale de recensement des votes en estimant que les résultats qu'on est en train de lui présenter ne correspondent pas à ceux qu'ils ont eu sur le terrain, et que, essayant de se prévaloir des procès-verbaux qu'il a, la Commission vous dit, leur mission, c'est simplement d'enregistrer. Mais quelle est donc l'instance qui va donc permettre de rétablir la sincérité des rapports, si ce n'est pas le Conseil constitutionnel?
Normalement, cela devrait être... J'ai juste fait une petite entorse à votre développement, professeur, et puis vous allez probablement revenir ou me corriger. Préalablement, on parlait des rôles des partis politiques, et vous évoquez justement là le pouvoir que les représentants des partis politiques pourraient avoir dans un tel processus électoral. À quoi est-ce que vous vous seriez attendu exactement en ce moment-là, lorsque la Commission nationale de recensement des votes, M. Issa, quitte la salle pour protester contre les résultats qui sont des bureaux de vote qui sont arrivés là, qu'auraient dû faire les partis politiques en présence, peut-être pour donner un peu plus de poids à cette revendication-là?
Mais vous savez que le processus d'acheminement des procès-verbaux part d'abord des bureaux de vote vers l'antenne communale.
Tout à fait.
Ouais, donc, c'est centralisé au niveau de l'antenne communale et transporté au niveau de la commission départementale, qui est présidée par un magistrat. Donc, à chaque niveau du processus électoral, les procès-verbaux suivent. Actuellement, à Yaoundé, vous avez les procès-verbaux de tous les bureaux de vote du Cameroun. Même si les partis politiques ne les ont pas, elle est quand même censée avoir tous les siens. Mais, comme quelqu'un le disait tout à l'heure, je crois que c'est Jean-Claude qui le disait, le contentieux ne portera pas sur tous les bureaux de vote, Sandrine. Ce n'est pas possible. Il y a des bureaux de vote pour lesquels il n'y a pas de problème. Toutes les parties ainsi. Vous avez vu, par exemple, ce qui s'est passé au niveau de Bafoussam. Lorsque la population s'est déportée vers le palais de justice et qu'on a sorti le procès-verbal de synthèse, mais je crois que aussi bien les représentants de Issa Chiroma Bakary que ceux du RDPC, dans tous les cas, qui sont généralement les plus représentés, ont accepté les résultats. Et justement, les résultats qui ont été signés comme publics sont ceux que les représentants de Issa Chiroma Bakary présentaient déjà. C'est-à-dire dans l'ordre de 80% et 20% pour les RDPC. Donc, ce n'est pas partout qu'il y a des contestations. Il y a des départements entiers dont les résultats sont acceptés par tout le monde. Donc, alors à partir du moment où on vous dit qu'au niveau de la commission départementale, on ne peut pas modifier les chiffres, on ne peut pas décider de la sincérité de tel procès verbal ou non. Vous comprenez qu'on doit donc trouver une instance à un niveau plus élevé. Et pour moi, ça devrait être, à défaut d'être la Commission nationale de recensement général des votes, être le Conseil constitutionnel. Parce que notre code électoral est dangereux parce que je dis, vous ne pouvez pas, quand je prends le contexte de l'élection présidentielle actuelle, il y avait 12 candidats. Et au regard des textes, l'article 114, on vous dit que tous les candidats doivent avoir un procès verbal, en plus du représentant de l'EGAM, en plus du représentant de l'administration et deux autres copies. Ça veut dire qu'on devrait s'attendre au moins à 16 procès-verbaux. Et d'après la loi électorale, parce que justement, on est en train de reprocher aux opposants de n'avoir pas eu des représentants dans les bureaux de vote. Quand vous lisez la loi électorale, dans sa lettre, dans son esprit, avant de commencer le processus électoral, le président du bureau de vote devrait désigner les représentants des partis, même lorsqu'ils ne l'ont pas fait. C'est le code électoral qui le dit. La loi prévoit que le président du bureau de vote doit, parmi les votants, parmi les électeurs, désigner un représentant pour chaque candidat et le consigner sur le procès verbal. Mais vous voyez que les gens se réjouissent d'organiser les élections avec juste le représentant de l'ECAM et de l'administration, en violation de la lettre de l'article des dispositions du code électoral. Donc, il y a beaucoup d'irrégularités. Et je dis, si le Conseil constitutionnel a pour mission de veiller à la régularité, n'est-ce pas, du processus électoral pour la présidentielle et le référendum, cela suppose qu'il doit également apprécier la sincérité des chiffres. C'est un détail important. Si le Conseil constitutionnel ne peut pas se prononcer sur la sincérité des chiffres, alors il démissionne de ses fonctions. Donc, voilà ce que je peux dire.
Alors.
Mais bien sûr, c'est ce qu'il devrait faire. Et puis, vous voyez, entre 2018 et aujourd'hui, mais on nous a obligés à retourner lire le code électoral. C'est-à-dire qu'on l'a lu, on le comprend et on peut mieux l'interpréter. Donc, vraiment, je dis, on doit mettre le Conseil constitutionnel devant ses responsabilités afin qu'il joue pleinement le rôle qui est le sien. Le Conseil constitutionnel n'est pas là au service d'un parti. Il est là pour assurer la sincérité du vote et apaiser le climat politique au Cameroun afin de prononcer un verdict que tous les Camerounais acceptent. Et pour cela, la notion d'arrêter a tout son sens, comme disait Jean-Claude tout à l'heure. Arrêter, en fait, c'est apprécier aussi la sincérité des chiffres. Et donc, prendre en considération les griefs qui peuvent être élevés par les partis en compétition et comparer les procès-verbaux. Mais sinon, les procès-verbaux qui sont remis aux partis d'opposition ne sont que des brouillons, c'est des chiffons. Si finalement, il n'y a pas une instance où ces procès-verbaux peuvent être appelés. Vous imaginez que, au regard du nombre de procès-verbaux qu'on doit avoir, on devrait avoir au moins 14 procès-verbaux. Je dis, on devrait avoir au moins 14 procès-verbaux. Mais vous voyez que ce n'est pas normal.
Yes, I think that Mr. Wallan can come in now to just tell us. We've seen a statement from UPC, that's the Union pour le Changement du Cameroun, and they are urging Cameroonians to stay at home on Thursday and celebrate the victory of Issa Shoma Bakari from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. At the time when we are having a lot of communiques, there are Gen Z movements that are forming and urging people to go out. We also have the Project C. Many organizations are urging Cameroonians to go out for two things. Maybe one thing, maybe to celebrate or to contest if Issa Shoma Bakari is not declared the winner. But we are having the UPC instead saying that people should stay at home. Mr. Wallan, would you want to respond and tell us what your thoughts are about it? Okay, I think that he is freezing.
Is it freezing again? Okay.
Yeah, if he's still frozen, let me pick up with Prof. I just want him I just want to run a quick summary of what he was saying in French about the validity of the procès verbal, the report sheets. So you're saying that only the report from ELECAM is valid before the Constitutional Council, and because that is the only valid document before the Constitutional Council, the opposition parties, despite having their own reports, those reports cannot play any role before the Constitutional Council tomorrow, meaning that the sitting of the Constitutional Council tomorrow is not relevant to establish the truth of the polls. Am I correct?
Yes, but we are saying that this report is not relevant just because of the practice that has developed the Constitutional Council. Because normally, if the Constitutional Council want to play the role that is its own, it will normally has to take in consideration the reports that is possessed by the political parties. If not, it is not playing its role, and that's a particularity in Cameroon. Because when we study all the Constitutional Council throughout the world, like in Benin, in Senegal, in Cote d'Ivoire, they really play their role because there is no other court above the Constitutional Council. So in Cameroon, the particularity is that the tendency is to deny to play the role that is assigned to them by the law.
Why would Issa Chiruma's party not go to the Constitutional Council with their own reports and tell the Constitutional Council to consider that particular article of the Electoral Code unconstitutional, because they have that power. Because it is actually unconstitutional, it doesn't lead to fair play.
Yes, but Mr. Chiroma has done it because he doesn't trust the Constitutional Council. The Constitutional Council can also now take the initiative to invite all the competitors before him, no, in order to hear them, to hear their grievances against the system. Why can the Constitutional Council not do that also? It is possible. When you are an instance who is looking for peace, who is concerned by providing a safe and a convenient climate, political climate, you have to play your own role, because above you there is no other instance. So the Constitutional Council can also call, because by refusing to go to Constitutional Council, Issa Chiroma has clearly said through his advocates that there is no need, according to what the Constitutional Council has always done. And we have all watched what was done against Professor Kanto. I was sitting in front there. What was discussed there, I say, I was surprised as a university lecturer. No general principle of law that was raised before the Constitutional Council was admitted. They behave as if these general principles are not law at all. You see?
Yes. Thank you so much, Prof. Let's go to Mr. Wallang. Mr. Wallang, Prof is establishing the fact that the electoral process is not credible. The Constitutional Council itself is not credible. But tomorrow, the Constitutional Council is going to be sitting in plenary to review disputes from the elections. Mr. Wallang seems to be off. Let's get this question to Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude, so from everything Prof has said, there is no credibility with the elections, neither with the Constitutional Council tomorrow, but the council is sitting tomorrow to review these disputes. From your communication with people on the ground, is anyone expecting anything credible from the Constitutional Council, or even surprises? Jean-Claude is definitely going to speak in English.
Okay, yes. I think the only thing people are expecting from that council is the end of this, theater, this drama going on, because maybe when you are discussing with people there, they just don't, they still just want to stay by the side of the law till now when you listen. So, but I think many things are going to move on after, the meeting of the Constitutional Council. This is what I exactly think. So, because at this stage, by the side of Mr. Chiroma and all his staff, they just think that they have done all what they had to do till now. And they are just waiting to see if the Constitutional Council, because they have all the results anyhow, so what are they going to do? How are they going to move? Who are they going to declare as a winner of this very election? So it's only what they are going. They want to see if the Constitutional Council is going to stay by the side of with the people, okay, or if they are going to confirm the rumors or what you are hearing since some days.
Okay, so in a press release, Sanjay, let me just follow up, then you come in.
Yes, for sure. Let's go.
Yeah, in a press release by the Association of Cameroonian International Civil Servants who are working within the United Nations organizations, diplomatic missions, and other international cooperation agencies, they recognize Chiruma's victory, and they say they are urging administrative, security, political, and judicial authorities to act with patriotism, responsibility, and fairness to address irregularities in the electoral process, respecting the popular will as expressed by the ballot box in accordance with the Constitution. Are these Cameroonians living abroad in symbiosis? Do they have the same understanding of the Constitutional Council's role as those who are living in Cameroon? Because looks like, from what Prof is saying, there is no expectation that the Constitutional Council is going to respect or is going to respect what came out of the ballot box. But the international civil servants, whom some of them are CPDM militants and appointed and approved by the CPDM government, are telling the Constitutional Council to respect the law. Where do you stand on this?
The first thing, before answering your question, the first thing what I wanted to say, what lead the Cameroonian working for the international organization to, to publish this press release is, the first thing is we need to state that this is our position as Cameroonian, citizen. We don't want this position to be understood like reflecting the point of view of all the international organizations and diplomatic missions we are working for. So, because in our association, you have people working for the UN agencies, for DFID, for IECS, for Médecins Sans Frontières, for many international organizations which are ethically very severe, and we absolutely need to make ourselves understood on this, that it is our personal as citizens. So we are stating as citizens. The other things is the second and last point I would like to state is that when you are working in the international areas, risking your life in some countries, seeing how, for example, I've been working there. This is my 10th countries in 10 years, I think. And when you have been in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Libya, in Tunisia, and then you can understand how those things, you know when it starts, and you never know what is going to be the end of all this. So what we are doing by this press release is to take, our responsibility and, checking all what has been. And when you read our press release, we said we took our time. That's why we didn't state last week. We wanted to have all the informations about the result. Listen to the bishops of Cameroon, listen to the religious authorities, the traditional rulers, the international observers, and the journalists, everyone. So this is, all this allowed us to state that, of course, according to the result, according to the result of all those people, we had to stand behind the people because it is our work daily. It is our ideology. If we have one, it is our ethics, to stand by the people. It is what exactly we are doing. That's why we are publishing this press release, and we are recognizing, Mr. Issa Chiroma as the president elected. Cameroon. Now, I don't know if
Yes, I wanted to follow up a question with Professor about who bears responsibility when there are cases of electoral fraud, like we saw in some polling stations. In these cases, most of the electoral fraud cases were committed by eleccam officials. We saw it in the southwest, we saw it in the littoral, in the center, in the north, and in some parts of the far north. I mean, in all the regions of Cameroon, we saw cases of electoral fraud carried out by eleccam officials. And because these electoral fraud are, the eleccam officials are responsible for these cases of fraud, should their files then be admissible at the Constitutional Council?
Well, from what we know, there is no polling station whose reports have been rejected, despite all these frauds that you are describing. And so I think Elecam is playing a very bad role. Elecam is playing a very normally, in normal circumstances, political parties will not need to be in the polling stations if Elecam was could play its normal role, because Elecam is there to guarantee the transparency, the credibility of the electoral system. But curiously, they are the one organizing all these frauds. So according to what the provisions of the law, when all those who are appointed to preside over polling stations for the For the circumstance, even though they have no matricule, they are considered as civil servant according to section 131 of the Penal Code. Because according to section 131 of the Penal Code, you are treated as civil servant any person who is involved in the management of a public service, even occasionally. So even if all those who are appointed to preside over police stations are civil servants, and being then civil servants, they can assume three types of responsibility. The first one is an administrative responsibility. It means that normally the Director General of ELECAM should sanction these people if they were normally employed by ELECAM. Then their contract ought to be cancelled. No, that is their labor contract needs to be to cease, okay, because they have committed a very serious fault. It is a fault. We call it in French faute lourde. It is what their behavior is against their normal mission. So that's administrative. But there is also the penal responsibility. People are not very aware of section 122 of the Penal Code. Section 122. If you have time, note this section and read it later. This section 122 contains all the offenses that can be committed during the electoral process in Cameroon. Section 122. And this section provides penalties that ought to be applied to all these those authors of fraud. And when we talk of penalties, it means that the prosecution needs to be started by the legal department, the Procureur de la République. In a normal country, you should not wait to have a complaint. When such a fraud is revealed, normally the legal department should seize itself of the matter and prosecute the authors. It is a crime against humanity, because you cannot have a total people deciding to go in a particular direction, and an individual stays somewhere and decide that you will only go in the left. It is a crime, very, very, very serious. And among the offenses that are that are in this section 122, you have one that will concern a particular candidate who did something that no political actor did in Cameroon. It concerns Mr. Jean Blaise Guet. Jean Blaise Guet, what did he do? He went in the polling station, took a picture of himself the day of election, and posted it on his Facebook page and said, "Do like me, vote for Mr. Biya." It is section 122 sub H of this section of the Penal Code, meaning that Mr. Jean Blaise Guet needs to be prosecuted for what he has done, and the same prosecution should be conducted against all these ELECAM representatives who have participated in the fraud. And the last responsibility is the civil one, because by acting like what they did, they are committing a damage against other candidates. So if they acted in favor of CPDM, all the other candidates can constitute themselves as victims to claim damages. And when you are claiming damages against a civil servant, the compensation needs to be paid first by ELECAM. It is after paying that ELECAM will see if it can recover the money it has paid to the political parties against the individual author. So you see, so there are many ways to sanction all these attitudes. But we are in a country where the whole administration is behaving like an annex of CPDM. And that's what we are regretting. So that's the comment that I can do. So normally, the Director General of ELECAM should sanction its representative. But if not, when the attitude is constitutive of an offense, of a penal offense, the legal department of each place where these offenses have been committed can prosecute without waiting to receive a complaint either from a candidate or from the Director General of ELECAM. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandrine. You want to come in? Mr. Walang is also here.
Okay, so Mr. Warren is back. So, Mr. Warren, there is a lot of communicators out there. I think that was the question of Mimi or Bernard Stoner, like about people asking, like l'Union pour le peuple et l'Union du peuple pour le changement, like asking people to just stay home on Thursday, the day that the results should be proclaimed by the Constitutional Council. We also have friends asking his citizen to move away from Cameroon. So what do you think about all those things? At the meantime, we had a lot of protestation. We already had one person died in Gara today. There is there was a protestation in Yaoundé too. So what do you think about everything going on and the role of the Constitutional Council around it?
Okay, thank you, Sandrine, for that question. I think that, I was saying that we Anglophones, we are already, are you getting me?
Yes, for sure.
Yes. So I was saying that we Anglophones, we are already getting very used to the ghost towns that we are going through here, almost every week. Everybody knows that I'm not, that is not a new information in Cameroon. And concerning the calls for people to stay at home on Thursday, I don't think that there is anybody who has a monopoly of calls at this moment. What do I mean by this? It means that the Cameroonian people are responding spontaneously. You and I did not call for the incidents that occurred in Yaoundé today, in Garoua, in Douala. We did not. People are responding spontaneously. So I think that, peace is good. If people stay in their houses, it's going to be peaceful. But I also think that in a responsible society, justice precedes peace. Now, you cannot organize an election of this magnitude to select a president of the republic, and then we have in real time, when I say in real time, while the voting procedure was going on, we had videos in their hundreds on social media about electoral malpractices. That was in real time. So people are watching. The dynamics is that the internet now exposes a lot of things. The telephone, people have the world, at their fingertips. You can just key in and then you see exactly what is happening in so many places at the same time. And Cameroonians have been so worried by what they have seen concerning electoral fraud. So I don't think that even Mr. Issa Churuma himself would be able to tell Cameroonians that, I mean, if at all, he opts for peace, I don't think that many people will be listening to him. It's a spontaneous action now on the part of Cameroonians. You and I are not sending them out there. They are reasonable enough. They have proof of everything that is happening in the country. They have proof of all the irregularities. I mean, even if one particular individual doesn't have proof of all, but a group of individuals come together, combine what they have, will have a cross-section of all the irregularities that are or that have taken place and that still keep on taking place, because as we are talking, proposing the position of Prime Minister to Mr. Issa Churuma Bakari is some kind of a recognition of the fact that there have been irregularities, and so he should come in and call his supporters.
So, do you think that the CPDM or like people around Popia should say like clearly that we are recognizing that Mr. Churuma won, which is sound not like coming soon?
I don't think that the people around Mr. Biya, the journalist Mr. Jean-Claude said something about the arrogance. I don't think that, and these people are people who are surrounding Mr. Biya for their own personal benefit. It is very clear, it is very evident. So they are not going to tell Mr. Biya anytime soon that declare Mr. Issa Churuma the victor of this election. I think that there are two main parties. One, the sovereign people of Cameroon and their action. Two, the reasonability of the highest judicial institution in the country, which is the Constitutional Council. When the Constitutional Council would have weighed the options of the Cameroonian population and measured the consequences of what the Cameroonian population can be able to do to reclaim the victory that, to revindicate the victory that they claim is Issa Chiroma Bakari's, then I think that, it's not late. I think that the Constitutional Council, together, the Constitutional Council with the CPDM regime, who are working in close collaboration, I'm sure they will be able to sit and say, this thing is taking a turn that we did not expect. Less.
Ok, on a perdu Monsieur Wallon. Je pense qu'il va revenir très bientôt. Je ne sais pas si Jean-Claude est toujours en ligne ou qu'on va passer la parole au professeur Moïse Timcheng. Allez-y, professeur.
Oui, vraiment, je voudrais apporter une réponse à une question que les gens se posent. Les gens se demandent toujours, mais comment est-ce que des diplomates camerounais basés à l'étranger peuvent connaître celui qui a remporté une élection qui se passe au Cameroun? De la même manière, on se demande, mais comment est-ce que Issa Chiroma Bakari peut se déclarer vainqueur alors que le Conseil constitutionnel n'a pas encore proclamé les résultats? Mais l'article 113 est une mine d'or. Je dis, pour avoir une information, si vous lisez l'article 19, if you read section 19 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, it is clearly said there concerning the right to information that any individual can search. It means that you can move from your home to go and search for an information. You can receive. It means that you can put in place what we call a QG to receive the information, and you can also expand informations that you have. So from this section 113 of the Electoral Code, the result of a polling station is no more a secret. Because according to this section, each result is pronounced, is proclaimed, it is given public. And when an information falls in the public domain, it becomes an information. And this section 19 of the African Charter says that you can spread out this information without consideration of borders. I say without consideration of borders. It means that a result that is obtained in Chang can in the following seconds fall in Australia, fall in New York, fall in South Africa. And the rest is just a matter of compilation. You can just add. So with the means we have today, it is possible to have the results of the 21,000 polling stations in the same day. I say you don't. People can have the result even before Elecam, because for Elecam to compile a result, it needs to receive the report. But before receiving the report, the information has already gone. So this argument that diplomats who are working abroad cannot have the real result is just what we call in French les inepties du système. L'article 113 du code électoral donne aujourd'hui à chaque citoyen, on n'a pas besoin d'être représentant d'un parti pour avoir accès à un résultat d'un bureau de vote. Il suffit d'y être. Et puis je dis, si vous avez mis en place un système de maillage territorial, je dis avant 21h, avant 20h, puisque les bureaux de vote se closent à 18h. Généralement, le processus de dépouillement ne dépasse pas 1h30. Avant 20h, on peut savoir qui a gagné, parce que le reste n'est qu'une question d'addition. Et de là, on n'a jamais reproché à quelqu'un d'avoir félicité, d'avoir dit qu'il a perdu. Mais de la même manière que tu peux féliciter au Sénégal, l'élection a eu lieu le 24 mars. Mais le 25 mars, 8 des 19 candidats avaient déjà félicité Diomaye Faye. Ça signifie quoi? Ça veut dire qu'ils reconnaissent leur défaite et ils reconnaissent que l'autre a gagné. Comment ça se fait? Ce n'est qu'une question de compilation. Exactement.
Des tendances que l'on peut avoir dès le décompte des 18 heures après que les votes ont été clos. Je pense que c'est ce que vous voulez expliquer et qui est totalement clair de toutes les façons. Mais j'aimerais m'adresser à Jean-Claude.
Donc, je voulais dire que le reproche qu'on fait aux diplomates de ne pas accéder aux vrais résultats n'étant pas au Cameroun, je dis c'est un reproche complètement, c'est-à-dire que absurde. C'est comme si le Cameroun était un pays ténébreux où on a accès, où les outils de TIC n'existent pas. Donc, c'est ce que je voulais dire. Merci.
Peut-être c'est certains qui donnent l'impression que le Cameroun est ténébreux. Jean-Claude, à quoi est-ce qu'on devrait s'attendre dans les prochaines heures, qui semblent assez critiques quand même? On a d'une part certains acteurs qui appellent à des manifestations, c'est-à-dire hors de leur maison, d'autres qui appellent plutôt à une ville morte le jeudi prochain, alors qu'il y a encore j'allais dire des pôles de violence qui sont en train de secouer le pays, que ce soit dans le nord, que ce soit dans quelques parties à Douala ou même à Yaoundé. À quoi est-ce qu'on devrait s'attendre ou est-ce qu'on devrait redouter les prochaines heures au Cameroun?
En fait, je crois que tout est déjà joué. L'élection présidentielle de 2025 a ceci de particulier qu'elle n'a que deux acteurs. Parce que ça a été un référendum, pratiquement un référendum entre le peuple et le régime sortant. Donc, le peuple représenté par le candidat du FSNC, M. Issa Chiroma. Donc, c'est ça qui nous fait dire, parce que d'ailleurs, quand vous voyez, il s'est passé quelque chose, je crois hier ou avant-hier, où M. Issa Chiroma a centralisé la communication en fait, de sa campagne, de son parti. Il a désigné des personnes spécifiques pour le représenter dans les médias. Ça, ce n'est pas un fait anodin. Je dis, quand vous regardez M. Issa Chiroma, il est très bien entouré, il est très bien, et c'est là où on comprend effectivement que le fameux voter en âme et conscience de Maurice Kamto est en train de jouer un rôle hyper important dans cette élection parce que juridiquement, M. Issa Chiroma est en train de faire un sans faute. Et ça, c'est vérifiable. Donc, il a centralisé sa communication, ce qui veut dire que tant qu'il n'a pas dit quelque chose, c'est que ce n'est pas ça. Voilà. Et donc, ça à quoi on peut s'attendre, c'est qu'effectivement, M. Chiroma, qui, plus qu'élégant, je crois que c'est le professeur Chin-Chun qui le disait ici, parce qu'on a quand même participé à une élection où on n'avait même pas droit à un point de presse journalier. Les seules fois où le ministre de l'administration territoriale, qui fait office de ministre de l'Intérieur, il sortait, c'était pour menacer la population, intimider les acteurs, les parties prenantes au processus. On n'a jamais vu ça nulle part. En fait, on n'a pas eu au droit à des tendances, ne serait-ce qu'à un point de presse pour remercier les Camerounais d'avoir participé à l'élection. On n'a pas eu les premières tendances, ne serait-ce que savoir dire aux gens le nombre de personnes, les incidents qu'on aurait pu relever, le déroulement du scrutin, et puis chaque jour le travail des commissions. Et je doute que le RDPC, qui est entouré des plus grands enseignants de communication du Cameroun, vous n'allez pas faire la leçon au professeur Boyo Mouassala de ne pas savoir que les Camerounais ont droit à un point de presse chaque jour pour savoir ce qui est en train de se passer. Mais c'était fait exprès. Pourquoi je dis ça? Je le dis parce qu'ils ont estimé, ils ont évolué de cette façon-là. Et c'est ça qui fait, pour Issa Chiroma, les jeux sont déjà faits, comme je le disais. Pour lui, les jeux sont faits. Maintenant, il est dans la logique du laissons-les et attendons de voir jusqu'où ils peuvent aller. Et je crois que c'est cette posture parce qu'on s'attendait, si Issa Chiroma avait donné un mot d'ordre pour dire allez dans la rue, allons revendiquer le vote, je suis sûr qu'on lui aurait trouvé déjà des colibets. Donc, je crois que là, on est là, on a affaire à deux choses. Il y a un régime fébrile qui sait d'avoir perdu l'élection et de vouloir passer au forceps. Et nous avons M. Sachiroma qui dit « j'ai gagné », qui viennent me chercher. Et il l'a dit, hein, d'ailleurs, il a dit « j'ai gagné, je suis à Garoua, si on me cherche, qu'on vienne me chercher à Garoua ». Ce chercher-là, ça ne voulait pas seulement dire qu'on vienne m'arrêter, parce que de toute façon, il n'a commis aucun crime. Ça voulait dire qu'on vienne me chercher à Garoua. Et je crois que c'est à ce niveau-là qu'on est aujourd'hui. Sans surprise, le Conseil constitutionnel va faire ce qu'il a l'habitude de faire. Il va proclamer le RDPC vainqueur. Et je crois que c'est à ce moment-là qu'on va voir véritablement quelle sera la ligne de défense de M. Issa Chiroma, qui n'a pas saisi le Conseil constitutionnel, qui n'en attend rien de toutes les façons, qui a claqué la porte de la Commission nationale de recensement de vote. Il faut le rappeler, son représentant a claqué la porte lorsque on a attribué un pourcentage très élevé au candidat Paul Biya dans la région du Sud-Ouest. C'est à ce moment-là qu'il a claqué la porte, parce qu'il avait déjà supporté même de voir que les chiffres ne correspondaient pas avec les chiffres qu'on était en train d'utiliser, ne correspondaient pas du tout. Donc, voilà, c'est à ce niveau-là que je dis. J'espère que j'ai répondu à la question.
Absolument.
Il n'y a rien à attendre de demain, sinon le statu quo, c'est deux camps qui s'observent, un qui dit j'ai gagné et l'autre qui s'agite. C'est un peu comme quand on attrape un enfant qui a volé un morceau de viande dans la marmite de sa mère et qui a peur qu'on ne l'attrape parce que parfois veut mettre dans la poche et ça brûle un peu, ça chauffe. Donc il s'agite et c'est à ce niveau-là que le RDPC se trouve aujourd'hui.
I want us to focus a bit on Mr. Walang now before his internet disappoints him again. And maybe he might have to just leave us so that we continue with the conversation with Professor and Jean-Claude, because I can see that he's been going in and out, unfortunately. So, Mr. Walang, I just wanted to find out from you, many people are comparing Cameroon's state of affairs now with what happened in the Anglophone regions from 2016 to date. For example, the lady was killed today. She's actually a teacher. We heard Sandrine Yamga talking about it. Has evoked a lot of reactions, with many people saying that things have deteriorated. It's just gotten worse. So, are there any similarities with what we saw 8 years ago? I think more than 8 years ago. And what would be your message to the people in the Anglophone regions? We lost him.
Appeared again.
Yeah, we lost him.
Yeah, so I see he's really struggling to come in and go out. I don't know if a professor can respond to that. Do we have like some sort of similarities between what has been happening in the Anglophone regions and now? And what would be your message to the people in these regions?
No, any person who has followed the Anglophone crisis in Cameroon will see that it started like what is going on now for this presidential election, because when it started in the Anglophone regions, the public narrative was that there is no Anglophone problem in Cameroon. The same now, they say there have been no fraud, despite all the videos that are circulating. You see, the denial of the facts. That's what started in the Anglophone region. Even nowadays, we are talking of Mr. Issa Chiroma Bakari, but he went to Bamenda to apologize. That carrying the official word of the government, he was among those who said that there was no Anglophone crisis, the denial of the facts. It is the same situation. People want to refuse that the results are not out, while Section 113 provides that any result is rendered public the same evening. And I will say, even if you have not succeeded in getting all the results the same evening, Section 115 permits you to stand at home and just send your representatives in the divisional commissions. From there, you will gather the 58 sentences report, and you will have the tendency. Because when people are manipulating the figures, they don't consider the global tendency throughout the country. So even if you have not succeeded in getting the result the same evening, 2 days after, because according to Section 115, 2 days after election, all the results are available at the divisional commission. So those two provisions of the electoral code, Section 113 and Section 115, give any person the possibility to have the tendencies. And when you have the tendencies, you can no more, you cannot hesitate on who has won the election. So this denial is similar to what happened in the Anglophone regions. And when it started, the manifestations were peaceful, okay? But it is because of the arrogance, of the brutality of the regime, that finally the situation exploded. And as Jean-Claude was saying some while ago, I think Mr. Chiroma is watching. He wants to see up to which level these people are going to go. And later on, maybe the situation will start degrading. Here in Chang, we face a situation where we read in the social media that the results were being modified. It circulated 2 days, but that same Wednesday, I passed through the court to go and see my father-in-law. Just 30 minutes ago, when I was coming up, the population that was around the court was unpredictable. You see, but when I left the place, the manifestation was still very peaceful.
And someone accused you to manipulate people in Chang.
Yes, but he has withdrawn his publication because I told him that I will take care of him after he will lose his ministerial position. It was Mr. Jean de Diomo. I talked to him. I say, while I'm talking to you, you are Minister of Justice. It means that you are the head of the legal department. You could just give an order to any procureur de la République and they will catch me. If you need to pass through Facebook, it means that you have no power as Minister of Justice. And I promise him that I will take care of him after he will be dismissed from this government. But yesterday, no, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday I was told that he has removed his post from his page. But I said I've already secured it because after he will lose his ministerial position, I will take care of him. I don't joke. People are joking with this question, which is the destiny of 30 million people, and people are there joking. The situation that the way the situation improved here in Chang, it was surprising because it started very calmly, and in the evening we started only discovering that the young guys are burning the CPDM house, the Commissariat Central, and so on. But it went very fast. And when we see this, it can happen at national level. So our call is that people should show that they love our country and try to give the real results as the people has decided. The only sovereign is the people, and it is the people who decide who will be his head of state. So by trying to violate the principle of transparency is that which is improving the tension throughout the country, and we should all work to avoid any situation that can bring death, sufferings in our country. I've worked in countries where after war, I've worked in Republic Centrafricaine, in Côte d'Ivoire. We know where war can lead. We know the situation now in the Anglophone regions. We don't need to add another crisis in our country. It is already too much. And the tension will come only from those who are trying to modify the will of the people. We should let the will of the people explode. That is the only way to avoid the situation we see growing in our country, and it is not reachable. We should avoid that.
Yes, Mr. Walang is here actually because we have really been seeing how you're struggling to come in and go out. But Bernard, maybe we can ask him some questions before he goes.
Yes, Mr. Walang, I hope your internet is going to be a little bit stable this time. The question I asked, and I really wanted to hear from you, is what are you hearing from people on the streets about the Constitutional Council tomorrow, do they think anything credible can come out of it? That is the first. Then the second is, you already made mention of the normal ghost towns, but now conversations are increasing about the question on street mobilization or ghost towns across the whole national territory to ensure that the government feels some pressure. What is your take on that? Is it going to work?
Well, before I get to that, you know, I was saying something about this issue of peace in the country, and I want to commend the fact that the government is doing everything to make sure that peace reigns. But like I said, you know, in the beginning of this program, justice precedes peace. So it is of very little consequence to go around communicating with chiefs, religious leaders, and sometimes in a very stigmatizing manner, because many of those people that you see, they go to are Muslims, like to say that it is the Muslims who are wounded to react at this moment, but not knowing that it's a general Cameroonian problem. So now to come to your question, you know, what are people saying about this the lockdown? Many people that I have spoken with, no, first of all, the Constitutional Council, many people that I've spoken with do not believe, absolutely do not believe that the Constitutional Council can proclaim the will of the people. Many people absolutely do not believe. So, and I know that that's not a secret. In fact, it cuts across the board in Cameroon right now. Those who truly believe that the voices of the Cameroonians have selected Issa Chirumba Bakari are of the opinion that they cannot count on the on the Constitutional Council. And from rumors that have come from the Vote Counting Commission, Mr. Biya is already proclaimed winner. And if we know how Cameroon functions, sometimes some of these things come out as rumor to see how the public is going to react. And then, you know, some kind of preemptive measure. They want to see how the public is going to react. And then they come out now with a way of quelling the reaction in future at the precise time, in real time. So Cameroonians do not believe in the street. They do not believe in the Constitutional Council. Let me tell you something. I am a Cameroonian of the English expression, and we are living the Anglophone crisis every day. And without really coming out clearly, there are many voices that are saying that perhaps a change in leadership in Cameroon will change the perspective of the Anglophone crisis. Because even if what the Anglophones are claiming is not 100% true, but I think that the ability to listen, to give a listening ear, it's like a father giving a listening ear and saying that, you know, what you're asking, we cannot get all, but we can begin from here and try it, you know, within this period of time. So Cameroonians, Anglophone Cameroonians are frustrated with the outgoing leadership. I call it outgoing leadership because somebody has to be declared winner in future, and that person might still be Issa Chirumba Bakari, which is going to be an enormous relief for the Anglophone Cameroonians because they know that this is going to change the perspective of the crisis. I am totally scandalized as a person, and this cuts across the Anglophone community because I have friends who are journalists, I have friends who are in even in the administration. We are scandalized by the fact that the majority or the overwhelming majority of votes come from the Anglophone regions. And we are like, that doesn't resemble the reality any little bit. How can somebody that people have committed, you know, turn around, or the people turn around again and give him the highest vote in an election? That is practically impossible. I am an Anglophone. I have heard Anglophone voices, and we are saying that that vote does not represent the voice of the Anglophone. It represents another voice that has been brought and superimposed upon the Anglophone community to give an impression, whereas there is a fundamental problem. So the man in the street absolutely does not believe in this Constitutional Council. That is number one. Number two, You asked to know if how do I put it? You asked to know if the ghost town. The ghost town is something that Anglophone Cameroonians are used to. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. What I'm saying is that we are looking at it, as it's not a Francophone problem. No, we're not looking at it as a Francophone problem. We're looking at it as a Cameroonian problem, but we do not have the final say on it. We do not have the power to tell the Francophones that this is what you can do, because from our personal experience, the ghost town has had devastating effects even on us, Anglophones. So, but I'm saying that, and I repeat, this is what I've already mentioned in the past, that the sovereign voice of Cameroonians will prevail. It's not just Anglophones. It is the Cameroonian voice, the Cameroonian people who own the sovereignty of the country, who are the masters of this country, and every other person is serving them. That is all of us combined. An entity which is not, which no particular person is greater than. So it is this voice that will prevail in the end, and not the voice of one person or a particular group of people who are inferior. And so I end saying that the Cameroonian people who have expressed a voice openly should not be afraid. Not being afraid is not calling them to go onto the street. That is not within my power to do. But the people who have or allegedly stolen the elections, and there are material and undisputable proofs on that, those minorities should be the ones who should be panicking now, not the general population that has expressed a voice, and they are claiming that this voice must be recognized. This voice must be upheld. Those are not the people who should be afraid. Those are not the people who should be panicking. I think that it is really, really clear that we make this demarcation so that people understand. But this is not in a way saying that people should go to the street. It is not my decision to make. If people want to go to the street, they will go to the street spontaneously. Walangabang will not get up one morning and say, go to the street, and people go. I mean, I have heard people like Anise Ikane, Jokam, Chemeni talk, but people do what the popular opinion holds as sacred. If they want to go to the street, they will go to the street by themselves. None of us talking here will be able to stop them. So I think that's my opinion about it.
Thank you, Mr. Wallon Abang, for all those information and all those insights. I think it was so important to know that no one is calling people to go on the street. Sometimes people are just deciding by themselves to do it, as Professor was telling, reacting to the situation in Chang like a couple of days ago, when people and youth just went and then just decide to go on the street. So I have a question for Professor Moïse Timtram. Before we leave. Alors, professeur, à votre avis, quelle serait la bonne stratégie? Est-ce que vous pensez comme l'Union pour le changement qu'il faut juste rester à la maison jeudi et se dire, OK, tout est fait, les dés sont jetés? Comment, parce que je pense, lorsqu'on a regardé quelques réactions des internautes il y a un instant, il y en a qui estiment que c'est une mauvaise stratégie. Cela pourrait être assimilé aussi comme à célébrer une certaine victoire, juste à rester et à observer ce qui va se passer au Conseil constitutionnel. Il y a d'autres organisations de la société civile qui appellent les Camerounais à se retrouver dans la rue pour célébrer la victoire de M. Issa Jérôme Abakari. Mais on ne sait toujours pas ce qu'en pense le Conseil constitutionnel, ce que le Conseil constitutionnel va décider ou va arrêter ou même proclamer. Encore que M. Wallon disait tout à l'heure qu'on ne serait pas surpris que le Conseil constitutionnel proclame M. Biya vainqueur. Quelle est pour vous la lecture de la situation de façon générale?
Yeah, before Prof comes in, one viewer, I think that You Can Do Anything podcast also asked a question towards this direction, that the Constitutional Council is the last legal organ. After that, there is no appeal. Do the citizens have a right to protest, and how? So you can take it from there.
Bien, la question que vous me posez, hein, c'est une question qui relève des politiques. Bon, moi, en tant que citoyen, vous voyez, je suis attentif à ce que le Conseil constitutionnel va décider, même si, au regard des informations qui ont circulé, on pense que la victoire de Issa Chiroma Bakary ne fait l'objet d'aucun doute. Alors, si maintenant, je crois que tout dépendra de la décision que rendra le Conseil constitutionnel. Si le Conseil constitutionnel peut-être proclamait Issa Chiroma Bakary vainqueur, moi je pense qu'au regard de la désaffection que les Camerounais ont aujourd'hui pour le RDPC, ce sera la fête. Et je ne sais pas si on peut véritablement fêter en restant chez soi. Vous voyez, vraiment, je crois que ça va être l'extase.
Honnêtement, professeur, est-ce que vous l'entrevoyez? Est-ce que vous percevez, est-ce que vous imaginez le Conseil constitutionnel déclarer M. Chiroma vainqueur dans le statut politique que nous connaissons au Cameroun?
Vous voyez, Jean-Claude tout à l'heure nous a révélé des informations qu'on n'avait pas en entrant dans cette émission. Et nous avons lu également d'autres où on nous fait part de ce qu'il y aurait des tractations au niveau diplomatique, n'est-ce pas, au niveau, je parle là des chancelleries qui sont au Cameroun, et dans l'optique justement de plaider à ce que le résultat issu des urnes soit véritablement celui qui soit proclamé. On a également vu la conférence épiscopale, n'est-ce pas, de l'Église catholique romaine, n'est-ce pas, faire une sortie pour exhorter, n'est-ce pas, les instances compétentes à ne pas céder devant la tentation justement de biaiser les résultats qui seraient sortis des urnes. Donc, d'ici à jeudi, on ne sait pas ce que toutes ces tractations pourraient donner comme résultat. Mais je dis, au regard de ce que les Camerounais ont enduré avec le RDPC, je pense que la victoire de M. Issa Chiroma Bakary ne pourrait pas être célébrée en catimini. Je crois sincèrement, parce que ça va donner lieu à une extase et de manière incontrôlée, comme M. Wallan le disait tout à l'heure, chacun, c'est-à-dire que dans l'extase, les gens pourront se déterminer différemment. Et je peux présumer que cela va se terminer dans la rue. Maintenant, si, tel que les choses se dessinent, le Conseil constitutionnel devrait proclamer Paul Biya vainqueur. Bon, maintenant, vous savez que la candidature de Issa Chiroma Bakary, qui est portée par l'Union pour le changement, peut donner lieu à des attitudes diverses. Parce que bon, pour quelqu'un qui est discipliné, il va respecter le mot d'ordre de l'Union pour le changement. Et à ce moment-là, il reste à la maison. Bon, maintenant, comme il y a aussi d'autres voix qui sont en train de s'annoncer, le candidat Issa Chiroma Bakary lui-même n'a rien dit. Et donc, moi, je pense, de mon point de vue, je pense que si on est un soutien d'Issa Chiroma Bakary et qu'on veut se montrer discipliné, à partir du moment où il n'y a pas un son dissonant de Issa Chiroma Bakary lui-même pour recommander autre chose que ce qu'a indiqué la coalition qui a porté sa candidature, de mon point de vue, je pense qu'il vaudrait mieux suivre le communiqué qui a été signé ce soir par Diokam Tchameni et Kane Anissé. Cela n'excluant pas d'autres actions politiques ultérieures, parce que justement, le 20, le jeudi, le Conseil constitutionnel aura vidé sa saisine. Et nous savons très bien qu'il n'y a pas d'autres voies de recours. Mais nous avons l'expérience également d'autres contextes contentieux d'élections présidentielles où on a vu, n'est-ce pas, la même instance siéger deux fois. Moi, je vous ai dit que j'ai une expérience de travail en Côte d'Ivoire, mais je sais que l'élection présidentielle en Côte d'Ivoire a donné lieu à deux décisions du Conseil constitutionnel. Et là, tout dépend donc de l'efficacité des moyens politiques qui sont mobilisés. Parce qu'on peut très bien proclamer un candidat, s'il n'a véritablement pas la légitimité, il peut se trouver dans une condition où il ne puisse pas gouverner, tel que le seul moyen justement de revenir à une vie normale soit justement de reconnaître qu'on s'était trompé et donc d'adopter une attitude. La Côte d'Ivoire nous l'a montré. Donc, véritablement, vous comprenez que pour moi, dans le principe, si on est soutien de Issa Chiroma Bakary, on devrait rester à la maison. Et à ce moment-là, ça coïncide aussi avec les appels que les soutiens du RDPC sont en train de donner. Ils recommandent aux gens de rester à la maison. Mais pour moi, ce serait une expression du sens de la discipline qui doit caractériser vraiment un militant, un sympathisant, un soutien véritable. Cela n'excluant pas la possibilité, n'est-ce pas, d'autres actions politiques que la même coalition pourrait indiquer pour mettre éventuellement le régime en difficulté, de sorte à provoquer justement une autre instance comme celle qu'on a vue en Côte d'Ivoire. Merci.
Juste une dernière préoccupation, peut-être avant que Bernard ne revienne à nous. comment est-ce que vous percevez, est-ce qu'on devrait s'attendre après jeudi à une sortie peut-être de la communauté internationale? Jusqu'ici, on n'a pas beaucoup entendu parler ni de l'Union européenne, ni de la France, ni de l'Union africaine ou encore d'autres pays africains. J'ai cru entendre, mais je ne suis pas très certaine de la véracité que des propos auraient été tenus par le président du Burkina Faso, mais je n'en suis pas si sûre, je ne le mettrai pas à 100%. Alors, si c'est pas vrai, c'est ce que je me disais moi aussi. Est-ce qu'on devrait s'attendre à une sortie peut-être des organismes internationaux ou des pays avec lesquels le Cameroun a eu l'habitude de fonctionner? Est-ce que le communiqué de l'ambassadeur de France demandant déjà à ses ressortissants de quitter le Cameroun, est-ce que cela présage que les organismes internationaux, l'Union européenne et les autres, est-ce qu'ils attendent simplement que les résultats soient officiels pour se prononcer sur la question, ou quelle est l'analyse que vous faites de la position de ceux-là?
Bien, dans les relations internationales, hein, en général, le principe de la souveraineté des États commande aux partenaires de respecter les institutions. Donc, ce qui fait que le principe voudrait que les chancelleries et les organisations internationales basées au Cameroun laissent le soin aux instances compétentes du Cameroun pour déblayer la situation. Mais ce principe-là n'exclut pas les actions en back-office. Et nous avons lu, hein, et je crois que le source est très crédible, que l'Union européenne même s'est mêlée, se mêle à la situation au Cameroun pour essayer justement d'arriver à une situation qui soit admise par tout le monde. Parce que justement, si vous lisez la Charte des Nations Unies, mais la perturbation de la paix dans un point du globe est susceptible justement d'avoir des répercussions au-delà des limites territoriales que l'on pouvait estimer. C'est-à-dire qu'il suffit que le Cameroun s'embrase, mais pour que peut-être ça touche toute l'Afrique centrale, peut-être toute l'Afrique centrale après, toute l'Afrique, ainsi de suite, les répercussions vont se faire en Europe. L'émigration européenne que l'on décrit aujourd'hui est la conséquence parfois des crises qui sont nées très loin des zones méditerranéennes. Vous comprenez? Quand, par exemple, la guerre déclenche au Soudan, mais la pression va se faire en Italie, en Espagne, ainsi de suite, parce que les Soudanais vont chercher à trouver refuge en Europe. Donc, je pense que la communauté internationale n'a aucun intérêt à ce que la situation au Cameroun s'embrase. Et je sais que même si la courtoisie diplomatique leur interdit de se mêler des affaires internes d'un pays, je pense qu'il y a la préoccupation du maintien de la paix qui autorise justement à engager des actions souterraines, n'est-ce pas, pour éviter justement qu'on arrive à une situation d'implosion qui pourrait donc nuire à la paix dans le pays, dans le continent et à l'échelle mondiale.
Okay. Bernard. Bernard, you are muted. I can't hear you.
Thank you, Sandrine. Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. I have one question that was destined for Mr. Jean-Claude, but it seems he's off. Let me ask you, Prof, and that question is coming from the viewers. On Thursday, some people are saying go demonstrate, some are saying stay home. What should those in the diaspora do? Should they go to the embassies? Should they go to diplomatic missions? Should they go to the governments of their host countries to demonstrate? Or what do you think is going to be the best strategy for those in the diaspora?
No, as I said, if you want to demonstrate in favor of Issa Chiroma Bakari, I think that the principle of discipline for me will plead for the communiqué of the Union pour le Changement. It is the Union pour le Changement which is backing the candidacy of Issa Chiroma Bakari. And as far as Mr. Issa Chiroma Bakari has not said something contrary to what Mr. Ekane Adise and Jokan Chameni have said, I think for me, if you are the support of Issa Chiroma Bakari, we should remain home on Thursday. That is discipline. Now, as I said in French, it does not prevent actions that may start even on Friday. At that moment, we still be listening to what the leaders that are guiding our position will say. But now, but Mr. Walla also said that when it comes to a general manifestation, you cannot decide on what will be the attitude of a particular individual. So that's my conception. As a disciplined person, I would suggest the respect of the communique of Union pour le Changement, which is the coalition backing the candidacy of Mr. Chiroma. If they have said it, I don't think that their will is to prevent Mr. Chiroma from accessing to the power. I think they have a strategy.
Professor, so what if the results go in favor of President Paul Biya? What would you want Issa Chiroma Bakari to do? Because so far we have the only obstacle between the people, the only obstacle for the people now seems to be the military, the soldiers that are deployed to quell or stop the protests from taking place. What would you want Issa
No,
Chiroma
personally,
Bakari?
I think that if the decision is in favor of Paul Biya, I can imagine that the disappointment of some people may lead them to lose their control. So I will not be surprised if we see a protest, street protest. I will not be surprised because the expectation of the public of the people is so high. They are really expecting change, and this change must come only if Mr. Issa Chiroma Bakari is the new president. So if the decision is in favor of Paul Biya, I will not be surprised if there are some people will go on the street to protest. I will not be surprised. But if the manifestors, if the aim is to celebrate the victory of Issa Chiroma Bakari, at that time I think the principle of discipline is to follow what the coalition backing his candidacy has recommended. That's my position.
So, Mr. Walang, do we have any question? The only thing I wanted to just find out is your own final words before we go. What would you describe the role of maybe opposition leaders? I've seen a question, someone asking what celebrities should be doing, influencers, those who have huge followings on social media, what should they be doing? Even maybe activists like yourself, political scientists, what should they be doing at the moment?
Yes, I have seen so many influencers who are doing a great job online. I've seen guys like Caro, who has done a wonderful job of encouraging people, who want change. There's Auntie Felicia. There are so many of these guys. So what they should do is they should continue in the same line of action. Keep on encouraging the people. I say I'm not a fan of violence, so I cannot encourage people to go out. And when people go out, you cannot control their actions. People who go out, they are excited. Sometimes any little thing might deflect their reasoning and push them to a code of conduct that was not initially planned. So, but I think that the influencers should do what they have been doing very well in the past, before and after the elections. Many of them have congratulated Issa Chiroma Bakari, which is a good thing already because they have a very powerful following. Many of them have called on people to, recognize the fact that Issa Chiroma Bakari won the elections, and they should spread this information so that it reaches the critical mass. I'm talking about the critical mass, Mimi. When a great number of people are involved, put their energy on something, it is very certain that that thing will have an impact. And that is what the government fears. Unfortunately for them, a critical mass of Cameroonians are of the opinion that Issa Chiroma has won, and they are ready to support Issa Chiroma. As Professor Tim Chuen has said, I think it's important also to give direction, leadership. It's important for leadership to take its responsibility, like Mr. Jokam Chemeni and Anise Kane are doing. it is important for them to give a direction. We cannot read into their mind. We know very well that they have strategies that are very, very solidly conceived, but they cannot come out with them because it's going to be, some kind of it's going to be taken. It's going to be used by the system to counter the actions on the field. So we cannot read the minds of Mr. Issa Chiroma Bakari either. But I think that at this point, if you look at the actions, one, he declared victory, contrary to what was said by the Minister of Territorial Administration. Two, he challenged them to come get him in his house in Garwa, which has not yet been done till today. Three, he announced that he was going to publish the results, and he has already started publishing, or he has published the results of the 18 divisions where it is alleged or where it is proven, not alleged, because he has already published those results and it is proven that he is winning. And so I think that there are other strategies that you and I do not know, but which are strategies that are going to work wonderfully well. What I want to conclude by saying is that, if you are doing something bad and people keep on complaining, one day, it's like fish. If you're eating fish without taking care, one day the bone will tight in your throat. And so we are witnessing a situation where the bone of the fish is tightening in the throat of somebody who has orchestrated irregularity in a very large scale for a very long period of time. And I think that everything that has a beginning has an end. And we should take note that this is something that is in the interest of all Cameroonians. It is not in the interest of one person. One person should not tell us that he alone or he and a particular group of people alone are capable of leading the country. No, it is something for the general good, meaning that anybody can come there at any time. And we need a change of perspective. I'm asking, is 43 years not enough, or 42 years? Is 42 years not long enough? I think that, this is my personal opinion, I might be wrong, but I think that the outgoing president, Mr. Biya, is really, really tired and needs to rest. And to all his government, I'm saying that retirement is not punishment. It is a fabulous opportunity, an honorable opportunity to go and get a rest after having served people diligently for a long period of time. And what you have not been able to offer during this period of time, it is not now at this age that it can be offered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your response. Sandrine, do you have any question for our guest before we go?
No, I think that now we are just waiting for what will happen, because there's so many things coming out. I just learned that there are some fire going in Fumban, but I'm not sure yet. I have to double check that is if it's related to electoral process or no. So I was just trying to find out, like in Fumban a couple minutes ago.
Yes, there's fire in the market in Fumban. So we can see from one of our reporters that it actually took place. And we also saw that the final results on the screen, where Issa Chiroma Bakari is indicating that he won the election by 54.8%, and President Paul Biya came second with 31.3%.
Il y a sur les 18 départements, je pense. Je pense que c'est les 18 départements dont Issa Chiroma Bakari a parlé quelques jours plus tôt, parce qu'il avait affirmé qu'il allait publier les résultats dans ces 18 départements qui représentent le plus gros de l'électorat au Cameroun, pour que les populations puissent se faire une idée claire de ce qui s'est passé pendant l'élection du 12 octobre dernier et savoir qui c'est qui l'a remporté dans les 18 départements. C'est en fait un échantillonnage assez important pour comprendre la réalité et surtout les résultats qui sont sortis des votes. Mais si on parlait de dernière question, j'aimerais justement demander au professeur, quel est le message précis que Issa Chiroma Bakari essaie d'envoyer? Est-ce que c'est juste dire aux citoyens, je vous ai dit que j'ai gagné, voilà la preuve que j'ai gagné. Est-ce que c'est pour dire à l'autre partie, je veux dire au RDPC, à tous ceux qui entourent M. Biya, écoutez, nous savons que dans les autres partis qui ne font pas partie de ces 18 départements, il y a eu beaucoup de fraudes. Selon vous, quel est le message que M. Issa Chiroma Bakary essaye de passer?
Bien, je pense que c'est d'abord un message de la certitude de sa victoire. C'est-à-dire que, parce que, vous voyez, les projections en matière politique aussi tiennent compte de la statistique et de la probabilité. Hein. Et lorsque vous prenez les 18 départements sur les 58, mais vous avez 80% de l'électorat camerounais. Et donc, ça veut dire que malgré le nombre des départements restants qui sont au nombre de 40, mais quand vous avez pris une avance considérable, et je vois là que c'est un écart de plus de 20 points, mais vous êtes irrattrapable. Donc, la première chose, je pense, c'est de démontrer que même sans avoir besoin d'avoir collecté les procès-verbaux à l'échelle nationale, à partir de ces éléments-là, qui sont objectifs, sa victoire est indiscutable. Donc, il faut convaincre ça sa victoire. Et en convaincant la victoire, je pense le message aussi, c'est de fédérer autour de sa cause l'essentiel du peuple camerounais. Parce que si vous avez gagné dans les 18 départements les plus lourds, avec un écart aussi comme ça veut dire que vous agrégez autour de vous, n'est-ce pas, une majorité suffisante. Et justement, si c'est la voix du peuple, le principe de la démocratie, c'est la loi de la majorité. Hein. C'est la loi de la majorité. Et donc, si la majorité s'est donc prononcée en faveur d'Issa Chiroma Bakary, mais il n'y a pas de raison que la voix de cette majorité soit étouffée. Donc, je pense qu'on peut lire ces publications-là sous plusieurs prismes, mais surtout aussi une exhortation peut-être au camp en face à privilégier la paix. Parce que je ne me cache pas, moi j'ai soutenu Issa Chiroma Bakary. Mais le soutien à Issa Chiroma Bakary ne m'amène pas à dire de manière absolue qu'il a gagné, même quand les résultats ne sont pas à sa faveur. Mais pour le peu que j'ai pu parcourir, n'est-ce pas, dans la ville de Tchan où je suis, mais j'ai constaté quand même que Issa Chiroma Bakary a fait une sérieuse razzia. Il a fait une sérieuse razzia. Et donc, si les résultats à l'échelle nationale confirmaient la victoire d'Issa Chiroma Bakary, mais je pense que l'exhortation que nous devions adresser au président Paul Biya, c'est de reconnaître que ce n'est pas au moment où il est fatigué qu'il va apporter des miracles au Cameroun. Vraiment, à 93 ans, on est fatigué. Et notre constitution aménage un statut pour les anciens chefs de l'État, lorsqu'ils ont la chance encore d'être en vie. Ils sont des membres de droit du Conseil constitutionnel. Alors, supposez même que le président Paul Biya ait gagné et que justement l'entêtement de Issa Chiroma Bakary doive entraîner notre pays dans une crise sérieuse. Mais par amour pour le pays, étant donné le statut que Paul Biya a mérité, que la Constitution lui aménage, est-ce que pour les besoins de la paix, est-ce que pour l'amour de notre pays, Paul Biya ne peut même pas concéder cette défaite-là? Quel est le miracle qu'il escompte apporter aux Camerounais à 93 ans? Il a un statut, vraiment le statut de membre de droit du Conseil constitutionnel. Pour ma part, je pense que après 43 ans, il peut faire des concessions, même les plus inattendues. Vraiment, je pense qu'au lieu d'exposer notre pays à un conflit, au lieu de devenir un chef de guerre, comme disait Messanga Nyamding dimanche dernier, je pense que vraiment, pour l'amour du pays, la clé de la pacification de notre pays est entre les mains de Paul Biya. Surtout qu'il a la garantie d'un statut que la Constitution lui aménage déjà, d'être l'un des sages, l'un des régulateurs de la vie politique future de notre pays pour le peu de temps, en fait, pour le reste de temps que Dieu lui donnera encore de vivre. Donc vraiment, j'exhorte Paul Biya à faire preuve d'amour pour le pays et de se montrer sensible et au besoin de concéder au peuple camerounais de vivre cette autre expérience. Si cela peut nous éviter une crise comme celle qu'on a connue en Côte d'Ivoire, une crise comme celle qu'on connaît dans les pays voisins, notamment la République centrafricaine. Vraiment, ça, c'est mon exhortation. Et qui est celle d'un citoyen, pas nécessairement d'un partisan de l'un des candidats. Parce que Paul Biya n'a plus je ne sais plus les perspectives qu'il peut nous promettre aujourd'hui. Charles Novola a interrogé au sorti du bulletin de vote, au sorti du vote. Mais lui-même, il n'a pas pu dire le projet immédiat qu'il mettrait en œuvre au lendemain de son élection. Depuis 6 ans, le Conseil supérieur de la magistrature ne tient pas. Mais Est-ce qu'on a besoin de plus que ça pour comprendre que Paul Biya ne peut plus rien? Vraiment qu'il accepte le statut d'ancien chef d'État et qu'il nous évite vraiment une crise inutile qui va entraîner des morts et des blessés dans notre pays inutilement. Merci beaucoup.
Maybe just final words from Mr. Walang, just briefly, 30 seconds before we go. Do you see President Paul Biya and his team, because he's not acting alone anymore, do you see them conceding like he just requested?
Yes, I have said this before. You know, I'm not the one saying it. Everybody can see clearly for themselves the arrogance of the team. You know, when the way they go around threatening. It's not only limited to one minister, but almost all the ministers who go around talking about this, you know, they are using words of threats. So I think that with such attitude, it would be very, very surprising, yet very acceptable if Cameroonians could see them do a volte-face, you know, a change of direction and say, okay, we have seen that this thing is taking another direction, and for the sake of the love of Cameroon, I stress the love of Cameroon, because at one time we have to take the interest of the country above our personal interest, above our egos. So yeah, if they can, you know, go there, then it will be such a wonderful thing. But personally, you know, from my personal analysis, what has been happening in the past, what we are seeing now during this electoral irregularities and the contests that are coming in, and the way they are reacting to it, it is very obvious that they will not concede defeat, even if the proof of their defeat is put at their various pillows, so that whenever they get up, they will see it, they will still say it is not true that Mr. Biya has won. And Mimi, if you watch my videos in my page, you know, I'm talking about the neglect of African values in the present world, which is very, very Western, very Westernized, and Africa that is very Westernized. You know, in the past, there were institutions that were checking powers, and so somebody could not abuse power or, you know, use power for a period of time if the tradition did not accord that particular value. So, but now we have thrown away all those values and then, you know, adopt Western, you know, purely Western values with no opposition to our own values. And it's a problem, because if we had just a semblance of our own little values, I am not sure that a president that people don't want will be in power for 43 years. It's not only in Cameroon. It happens a little everywhere in Africa. And I think that we have to revisit our values. Professor Tim Cheng will think that this is, you know, an intellectual. He will think that this is a little crazy. But I am serious. I think that we have to review African values that were of use to us and adopt them, so that people are governed by their conscience. It is very important, because I mean, it is scandalous that for 43 years, nobody or the country has not been able to produce somebody to beat a sitting president. I mean, I don't comprehend it. The only reason is that the Western style democracy has a very serious weakness when it comes to Africa. We adopt it. We don't adopt it in its entirety. We adopt it when, you know, only the sections that favor us to eternalize ourselves in power. So we have to review these things and then set in place new ones that will be beneficial to all Africans. That's how I will conclude. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Bennett. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I came across, this is my last word. I would let Mimi give the final word for this session. I came across a letter addressed to the soldiers, the police, and the gendarmes of Cameroon today, and I would like to read some sections of it so the message goes directly to them, because Cameroonians are concerned about their safety and their security as they go out jubilating for Chiruma's victory or protesting against what they will call the rigging of the election. So, but it's at the center, we have soldiers, police officers, and gendarmes who need to protect the citizens. So the letter goes, "Dear brave soldiers of Cameroon, We address you not as enemies, but as fellow citizens, bound by the same blood, soil, and suffering. The ills that mar our nation affect you as much as they affect us. Consider these shared burdens. Widespread poverty. Families starve while inflation increases, yours included. When rents increase for us, they increase for you. When the cost of bread, gari, bread, corn, transport, fuel increase for us, they increase for you. When the cost of hospital bills increase for us, they increase for you. Rampant corruption. Officials steal all our future. Your pensions are also gone. When they force our parents to sell land to bribe our way to schools, they don't spare you. You have to sell your land too. When they force us to pay taxes that they steal, you pay too. When they borrow money from international partners, steal the money, and leave nothing for us, we pay the capital and pay the interest. Our children and your children will continue paying. When they create opportunities in the public and private sectors for themselves, the most you get is a low-level security job. They place their children in higher places. Their children give you instructions with disrespect, irrespective of your age. Inadequate healthcare. When they fall sick, they evacuate themselves to Europe, USA, Singapore, China, India. As they deploy you to hurt your fellow citizens, if you are wounded, they will abandon you in the hospital. Do you remember when Idris Deby, the president of Chad, visited Chadian soldiers on the war front who were hospitalized in Yaoundé? Did you see your own president, who is sending you now to go attack, torture, kill, and oppress fellow citizens? Did he come to visit your fellow soldiers who were wounded? Your wounded comrades die for lack of medicine. Our children suffer untreated diseases. When your parents fall sick, where do they go for treatment? When their own parents fall sick, they evacuate them to Europe, Singapore, USA. On the ongoing violence, bullets kill our youths, our friends, our brothers, our neighbors, our sisters. They deploy you to torture, oppress, kill fellow citizens. As they deploy you to torture, oppress, and kill someone's father, mother, sister, brother, friend, cousin, etc., they are deploying your own colleague, your own friend to kill, torture, oppress, and kill your own brothers, your own sisters, your own parents, your own cousins. These are the problems that we face and that you face. You are not above them. You live them daily. You suffer these same problems. You swore an oath to protect Cameroonians, not to obey illegal orders that harm us. Unlawful commands to shoot civilians betray that oath. You voted in those elections. You know who truly won. The people's will is clear. The current regime fades. The current regime will go. But you remain soldiers of the nation. You would remain in place. Refuse unjust orders. Protect citizens. Your conscience demands it. History will judge you. Stand with us. Lay down your arms. Join the group. Together, we will heal these wounds and build a nation for all. Unwavering respect, a fellow Cameroonian. So that is a letter that has been written to the Cameroonian soldiers. We hope they hear that message and side with citizens.
Very strong message there, Bernard. I can see the people really wanting change, and they also saying that the same change they are seeking is the same change that the soldiers need to make things better for them, because we've seen cases where soldiers have died in the Anglophone regions and in the far north, and the president did not even react. Some critics will say that the Minister of Defense issued a statement, the Minister of Communication issued a statement, but those statements do not come from the President of the Republic, who is the Chief of the Armed Forces. We've seen like complete neglect and from the level of the presidency when it comes to the plight of soldiers. I'm not saying that this should be payback time, but I'm just saying that listening to that message, it just tells me that at the end of the day, we are all Cameroonians and we want the same thing, which is change and better lives for everyone. So I hope that that message actually hits home and that people listen to it. Sandrine will be the one to conclude tonight, but I also have a message from the Cameroon's Gen Z community. They've written a strong-worded and open letter to President Paul Biya and his government. We know what Gen Zs have been doing in East and other parts of West Africa and even Southern Africa when it comes to clamoring for better governance in their country, clamoring for change, and so on. So, in this letter, they are denouncing what they have described as widespread fraud in the October 12 presidential elections, and they are calling for transparency, accountability, and the respect of the people's vote. That document is actually titled Stop the Electoral Fraud. Cameroon does not deserve this political bug, and is circulating online with the banner. They have also partnered with Project C, and they call themselves the Gen Z movement. I wouldn't want to state exactly who sent this letter to me, but the Gen Zs, there is a huge community. It's very, very big. And they say that they represent the collective voice of young Cameroonians frustrated by decades of political stagnation, corruption, and broken promises. And they say that they are refusing to inherit fake democracy. They have addressed the letter to President Paul Biya himself. I hope he sees and reads it. And in the letter, they are asserting that young people are no longer passive observers in the country's politics. They are saying that they are students, they are entrepreneurs, they are content creators, unemployed people fighting for stable connections. And they say that they represent the present and the future of Cameroon. The authors are also accusing the government of electoral manipulation. And they say that the official results that they are seeing online, that they are thinking about, that they are being told about, do not reflect the will of the people. And they are making it very, very clear that they want transparency and justice. They want total transparency with regards to the publication of all the polling station results online under the hashtag open data and stop the steal. They also want democracy. They do not want a dynasty in the country, meaning that, if President Pobia is president again, that will mean that he must have run Cameroon for 50 years. And they are saying that the will of the young people should be respected. Security forces, just like Bernard was saying, should stay neutral in this case, and they call for the army and the police to side with the truth and the people. And they are also saying that the citizens should come together as one than never before, urging Cameroonians to defend their vote if official results contradict the public record. We've also seen the Jeune Afrique report today saying that Issa Shiroma Bakari was approached and given the post of prime minister, and he rejected it. It only goes to tell us that President Paul Biya and his government knew that they were not standing any chance with and as far as the October 12 presidential election is concerned, and they knew that Issa Shiroma Bakari is the winner. That is what critics, observers of the political scene, and analysts are already saying, that it attests to his victory. And we are just going to monitor to see what is going to happen between now and tomorrow, between now and this weekend. We will certainly also keep you updated. We'll continue with these discussions from our end, but we also thank you so much for joining us. I want to give the floor now to Sandrine Yamga to now conclude before we go.
Ok, alors merci à toi Mimi pour tout ceci de la génération Z, Gen Z. Et on avait également avant cette importante note qui a été brillamment expliquée élue par Bernard Galim à l'intention des forces armées de police au Cameroun. C'est pour dire que nous sommes dans un moment tournant décisif de l'histoire. Au Cameroun, les résultats de l'élection présidentielle du 12 octobre dernier devraient être arrêté et proclamé par le Conseil constitutionnel au plus tard jeudi prochain. Il faut déjà signaler qu'elle a déjà expliqué que le contentieux post-électoral va s'ouvrir demain. Ce sera mercredi. On sera on aura bien évidemment les yeux rivés de ce côté-là pour voir ce qu'il en sera et voir également de ce qui est des partis politiques qui ont déposé des recours ou pas. Entre-temps, on va évidemment suivre l'actualité. On le sait, déjà des accès de violence dans certaines parties du pays, mais aussi des communiqués, des contre-communiqués. Que va-t-il se passer entre aujourd'hui et la fin de la journée demain mercredi ou encore la fin de la journée de jeudi prochain? C'est à suivre uniquement sur Minimofo Info. Merci à tous d'avoir été là sur YouTube, sur Facebook et sur toutes les plateformes autour desquelles vous êtes en train de regarder ce programme. Merci à tous et à toutes et à très bientôt. Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir, professeur.